realistically, we will remember this as the best year for a player to not win number one. Like Donk's year is the best year from anyone ever to not win number one. And that's just facts. So regardless of the fact that he isn't number one, anyone that knows Counter-Strike will also know this number two is better than 89%, not 89, like 80% of the number ones of other years. So just historically, this is an insane year, regardless. It's just facts.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans around the globe, we are back. HLTV confirmed officially on your screens for 2026. Proud partner, thanks to Stake. And we're being streamed live exclusively on Kick, but you can catch all the VODs and juicy goodness on YouTube or Spotify after the fact. Well, it's Prof, it's Striker, it's me. There's no Harry here, but there is a Lucas. So it's the core. We've got the core right now. We can qualify for an event, gentlemen. Which ones are we skipping, Striker?
Bounty, obviously.
Yeah,
they're doing the podcast mid-bounty. I think that's going to be the tournament we're skipping. We're doing the G2 mouse approach, taking the first one off and warming up slowly into the rest of the season.
It could have gone all FaZe for us, but I think we'll be finding ourselves coming into things quite warm come Krakow. Look, gentlemen, we've got a lot to get through on tonight's show. We didn't do an episode since, well, I guess the panel that was live, and then I did one with Mira on the Sunday with Vitality. But in terms of an official episode, the last one was just after the major, right? We did that one from my hotel room before we all kind of took a bit of a break.
And the last full one was like a month ago.
Yeah, well, Lucas was just saying it feels like it's a long time since we've done this, and that's true. It has been a bit of a long time since we have done one of these. The hiatus was good, and I think we were lucky that the tournament break, as I warned everybody, it's not always a Rostermania, guys. It's not a mania. It's not a mania, and we'll get to that, all right? So I want to tie up some loose ends from 2025. I want to preview 2026, and then we'll talk a little bit about Blast Bounty to wrap up the show. But there's a lot to get through. Let's start with just doing the top comment. So this will just be our first little jump-off point here. The other episode, Prof's only had 3 days to mature, so there can't be too many comments going on over there.
No, like 60 comments, I think. On the Vitality special. The views are doing pretty nice, but obviously a lot is going on. So a lot, it will take some time, but I think it's also one of the evergreen episodes that you managed to pull off. I watched just some clips, Apex's raspy voice. It was a vibe. It was a vibe over there, it looked like.
Yeah, I set it out because of my voice, and like mine was failing, but they had a good night. I think you could tell from the
good
voices.
Celebrations.
Yeah.
Let me read some of the top comments for you guys.
So for the people playing at home, this is in conjunction with Stake, and whoever has the top comment wins themselves a Vitality jersey. All right, there we go.
Yes, so this is some of the top ones, not the top one. It's kind of classic from People Production. Despite playing the villain and being French, Apex is actually quite likable. Facts.
He does like to lean into that whole villain arc, and I think like the fuck you Apex thing is a bit more of a meme these days than people actually saying like fuck you Apex, but I'm glad that he does, right? It's the same kind of thing that happened with like Glaive and Astralis back in the day. They kind of had this turn, whether they liked it or not, because they were so dominant. And I think it's better if he leans into it. There's no point just trying to like downplay it. Like people want the underdog story to exist because it has a spot in all of our hearts where we think we can play a couple of premier matches and beat Vitality.
The thing is, you can't win as much as they did without being hated to some degree. Like it happened to Astralis to a smaller degree. They're kind of, PR friendly, positive.
I don't know about the small degree, to be honest. I don't know if you recall those times, but people are hating the
whole,
fuck out of Astralis for being that dominant.
Yeah, Fnatic, obviously, back in the day, they are the extreme version of that.
Right.
That's because they were going up against NIP, though, like Counter-Strike sweethearts.
Also, JW, Flush, all of Booth,
Pastor
all of these
accusing him of
things.
cheating.
All of these things. But yeah, that's cool. Another comment. I can't. Sven Jaunes, maybe. This is about Flames Opener of the Year. It says, if the award was the human Opener of the Year, Flames would undoubtedly win it because Donk is a freak of nature. That's kind of an unlucky category to be in right now for Flamesy. Not really much you can do. It's kind of like locked in for Donk for the foreseeable future, it seems like. There was a huge comment about Apex. I think it's a funny comment, but I'm not going to read it. And last comment, boiled twice. Cache this, cobble that. I want the rats in the active map pool. Rats needs to make a return in some form. It's just
does
too good of a
exist
map.
on the workshop.
Yeah, I've seen it.
When I got home from the award show, I jumped in TeamSpeak, caught up with Rushley for the first time in a while, and we were talking about some of this stuff. And I was like, oh, but it's good now that they have the server browser in the game. And he's like, it doesn't work. And I was like, what? Because for me, I just have like favorite servers saved. So when I go in there, I see my warm-up servers and stuff. And I was like, what do you mean? Like you can't search it? Then I went to go search for just like public servers to pop up, and he's right, it doesn't work. So Valve, when you see this, can you make it work? Because otherwise, how are you going to find the servers? Like, it's kind of important that it just populates a list and you can find the servers. So we really do need that. I did send Valve a Twitter DM last night because I was queuing some Premier and we played against cheaters. I played 5 games and we played against cheaters in 1 out of 5. It's just, I thought it got better. I've been lied to. Anyway, that's a sidebar. Back on track. Sorry, Prof.
That's it from the initial comments and the winning comment from ZywOo. I remember in 2014, Apex was still in Clan Mystic. True. And at this time, his teammates were already praising him as a hardworking man. I'm really happy that all the work for so many years has paid off with a career that he deserves. That's kind of sweet.
So a bit of glazing.
Very wholesome. Yeah. Yes.
Wholesome.
Okay, so glazing won ZywOo a shirt. Congratulations, Zeri. You've done well there. So you need to contact fantasy at HLTV.org, and then someone on the back end will get you the shirt. Is that how it works? That's
how it works. Dimitri is on it. We had some delays on these things. Maybe not so much on the t-shirts. I think we figured them out. Some of the skin stuff was delayed. We had some supplier issues, with everything in the skin world happening. Made some difficulties to getting stuff, but I think we're back on track. And now with the awards finished, Dimitri had a lot of stuff on that. We should be rolling.
Okay, cool. There have been delays here in Malta as well, guys. I went to go to Lidl the other day to buy some groceries, and due to the storms in Europe, they were unable to get their shipments, and all of the shelves were bare, and it was very sad. So there's delays everywhere. You can't. Trains delayed in Germany, even though they talk about efficiency. Groceries delayed in Malta, and our brains.
German efficiency is the biggest hoax. Once you either test their internet literally anywhere you go, or go to the Berlin airports, like those two things. Or immediately shut that entire thing down.
Yeah, Berlin Airport's a bit of a fucking hole. But shout out to the Germans one time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I counted to 5. Thanks, guys. All right, cool. So, as I mentioned, we're going to be tying up some loose ends. So the end of last year, when talking to Apex, was essentially once the award show came to its conclusion. Right, they celebrated the year they had their beverages. The next day they came and did the podcast, and now the year begins. Obviously, they've been warming into things and getting ready for Bounty. They're going to be playing a little bit later today. People can whack that on, just so people understand. Well, this is live, but we are podcasting during Heroic versus Friendly Campers. So it's second day, Bounty, 4 best of 3s a day, single stream. That's why the thing takes up 2 weeks. And guess what? Next week, there's a 3-day break. So a nice long event with very low yield to start our year. Kind of great. I'm being sarcastic.
How about the yield, the point yield for eyeballers after beating FaZe? Is that significant yield for the VRS striker?
I didn't even look.
I actually didn't look at it either. Let me
Plus
see.
31 points.
12. mate.
Not great.
Don't cash that all
not
in
a
the
lot.
same shopper.
They moved 0 positions on the ranking. I don't know if that's all or if something else is going to be maybe.
Well, the thing is with Bonty is that it will get a little bit more value once the finals end, because the way that
Prize
the
money,
weighting works and all that stuff, it will only gather like the 500,000 weight once the actual main event is done. It's a bit of a fucked up way that the ranking works at the moment, and I think it's something all the VRS experts have been kind of calling to change. But it is how it works, so like it will have a little bit more of an effect once that's done, like completely.
Well, let's stick with this for a second. Is that something that you've emailed Valve about, Striker?
Oh, probably at some points.
Yeah, it needs to be addressed again, right? Because it is like when I was doing the conference panel with Graham, and this is like I brought up there, and I asked the devil's advocate question of why would this be something that Valve might not want to do, and the answer he gave is a pretty good answer in the sense that Valve, like once the event has concluded, the event has actually happened. Right.
Okay.
Right. So like, let's say that like there are qualifiers for an event, but then the actual event itself or the prize money or whatever, it never actually happens. Right. Then that could lead us into exactly. So that could lead us into some weird scenarios. But we'll get into the juice and the meat.
Chad, you're so good at this job, by the way. You're so good. The praise you got for hosting that panel from people that I guess usually don't watch you that much. It was insane. That's a great question. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm taking praise today. It's very nice. Let's do this though, Prof. So I want to start with I've titled it The Purge. Now, the reason I
have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea what anything means or anything in general. I'm like so lost in time and space currently. So I'm coming in this just like you drive me. Okay. Lead me.
This is perfect though, because what I want to do is like, because we're going to be tying up loose ends of 2025, and I was just mentioning the award show. That was the last thing that people might be remembering, other than Bounty, that's just been on the screens now for a day and a half. So I wanted to give you the floor at the start to talk about the award show of 2025, even though it took place in 2026. Kind of your thoughts there, and then I'll get into the broader purge topic after this.
Okay. I feel like next year we should just change the naming into the Oscar style 5th annual HLTV Awards.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a bit more of a boast for me. I also, when I did my intro, I tried to not call it like the HLTV Awards 2025. I tried to, be like it's the competitive year for 2025. Kind of
confusing, So if you lose the year, I think it's going to be more direct. Obviously, obviously it's for the year, so you don't really need to say. But I mean, it went well. No massive issues as always. Like planning and running something like this, there's a lot of stuff happening like behind the scenes and like a lot of fires to put out. But in the end, we did it, men's. I don't know how we did it, but we did. So pretty happy. I think a lot of still room for improvements, but like the amount of people that came through was great. And with that improvement, with that raise, we didn't have some glaring holes, which is kind of the main thing that we wanted to do this year. Stage was huge. Screens looked nice content. But yeah, a lot more things to do. Hopefully, getting a few more notable names. I think as the announcer specifically had some talks, didn't really come through. Hopefully, we can get more of them next year. But also some people really surprised. I think Config was a super nice addition. Ash had a great speech.
Everybody was like, how did Config become a fucking Hollywood actor of a human being? It's like insane when he came onto that stage, like dressed to the nines, man. That was amazing.
Leaving CS for like a year, what it does to a man. Bro is like rejuvenated. He looks like 5 years younger.
PC. Yeah. So all in all, you're pretty happy with it?
Yeah. Super happy.
I think that the big one for me, well, there's two, and then they're unrelated things. One is we need to work out how to get more players to come. Because there's a lot of industry people there, which isn't necessarily a problem, but we definitely want to make sure that we get as many players there as possible. So I don't know how we get them there, but we need to get them there.
This is a conversation that I'll try to have like throughout this year, like what the issue is actually, because there's teams players that are there, that don't show up. Like there are teams there that had like 2 or 3 players and other players didn't show up, and I don't know why, to be honest. Like I understand maybe some people really hate the idea of it, and that's fine. But I don't know what the general problem is to, just, risk, not even for me, but for your peers to come there and give them some love. I think that's kind of like a positive circle jerk, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That for me.
What is a circle jerk not positive?
That's actually true. You're saying truth bomb, truth nuke from Striker right there.
Bloody hell. Okay. And the other one that I would like to see is, and this doesn't apply to me because I need to get messages to return to my position in between intermission and stuff. But make these motherfuckers put their phones in bags. Get it like it's a club. You know, like a comedy club, and everyone's phone goes in bags. I want people locked the fuck in.
But then who's going to take photos to post on Instagram?
I don't know. You have 17 photographers. I think you're probably doing all right.
Honestly, you know what we should do? We should just get like a few people to be enforcers and walk around and tell people off and like really shame them for like talking or using their phones. I think that works.
Okay. Shame. From circle jerks to shame. Sometimes they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
I don't know about hand in hand. This is what you're talking about. But fair enough.
Well, yeah, we're linked up somehow. Yeah. Okay. So this whole purge topic is essentially, guys, anything that we remember happening in 2025 that we don't want to take with us into 2026.
Okay.
Right. So I'm putting you guys on the spot right now, but I kind of want people to visualize it. Right. They're getting up. They're standing up, and they're just kind of like they're shaking it off. They're shaking it off. It's like they're really letting it go. Whatever negative energy, whatever like bad vibes, whatever stuff they want to leave in 2026, right? I want them to leave in 2025, right? Whatever they don't want to bring into 2026. So is there anything that people don't want to bring into 2026?
Ooh.
There's certain things here that we can't avoid, like online portions of like Bounty right now and EPL.
I was going to say, like,
those.
Everything that comes into my head is stuff that can only change from like a year from now rather than right now, like for this year. So I don't know if I have something on the top of my head.
Maybe we need to mark it. Right? Maybe we need to mark it and return to it next year and hope that it stays in 2026. Maybe I've come at this too late.
I think that, what I would wish for, less dog shit roster changes. Like we didn't have many roster changes, but I honestly take that over something that doesn't make any sense, like lateral moves. I'm tired of lateral moves, like spirits changes last year. Don't really didn't make a difference. Not really,
They did it, but I think they excited a lot of people. To be honest, I think everybody expected those to transform into something better.
Yeah. This is just the first one that came to mind, but there's a lot of moves around the scene that are just like, well, what does Kersey do that whatever any other opera that you had before doesn't, right? And it's just like treading water. I'd rather just have the same people. Just make it less job for the people updating the teams. Just don't make changes if they're not going to make a difference. But it is kind of sad that we didn't have more happening in the off season, but that's a different discussion, I guess.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, for me, the big one, and Yanko dragged me into this yesterday, and I should never have got dragged in. I should have had my wits about me, but he dragged me into a conversation about the top 20, and I hate myself for being involved in it. I hate myself to no end, right? Because this conversation, when it's happening, is the off period of time after the major. So that's like, I kind of look at that as my sacred time, which I know it's hard work for you guys, obviously putting in the award show, and then Striker, you and Harry coming up with everything and working out how it's going to be. And it's massive in terms of conversations and Twitter and this and that. And I understand it and appreciate it from all of those angles, right? I'm happy for people to do that. I just don't want to be involved in the conversation because I don't have anything to add that's productive. Okay. I have nothing to add that's productive to that conversation at all. And the fact I let Yanko drag me into it, I'm blaming him, but I should have known better. I'm a 36-year-old man. I should have known better not to get involved in that conversation, right? Because this thing, it happens every year. It's the same type of conversation. And I'm pretty sure I say the same thing every time. I say, listen, guys, this is what HLTV do. If you don't want to do it, make your own. You're more than welcome to do that. I don't have any qualms with it. Who are your top 20 players and why? That's great. Make your list, talk to your Twitter people, do all that stuff, make a video, make a Reddit thread, whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't want to I can't get involved in it again. So I'm sad at myself, and I'm apologizing to myself right now because I shouldn't have done it.
Until even last year, yeah.
I fucking did it again. I fucking did it again.
I have, I mean, touching on that point, the only people that I saw actually make a list is Maui Snake and King T and
Launders as well.
Yeah, and Launders and King T and Quacky. I think that's how it's pronounced on the Retake the Week kind of podcast, those two guys. And Maui's is like top 25 is the same as our top 25. It's just a few things in a different order. So overall, you know, when people say, oh, this is the worst ever, is like, why are only everyone else is literally agreeing with this? So everyone that actually put in the effort to make it actually agrees pretty much with the same thing we put out with slight differences. Okay.
It's kind of funny how like people just like see somebody place, I don't know, 3 spots different that they would have thought that everything is just suddenly ruined just because fucking NiKo, who had a kind of a shit year in his standards, is 18th versus, oh, you should have been 15th at least. I'm like, would it have really made that much of a difference in how we think about NiKo this year and like what he's done this year and how much he's achieved? Does it really make that much of a difference if he's 18th or 15th? Obviously, we had a reason to put him in 18th. It's not like we believe he should be higher. I'm just saying, doesn't really make a difference, you know?
I think, Chad, I mean, what you say every year is like, yeah, this is HLTV's list. You have your own way of like quantifying players and stuff like that. And you don't need to rely on this because you watch, and that's essentially it. The HLTV list is more for like historical going back and being, okay, this happened, and then you can reference it and build stories and everything. Realistically, we will remember this as the best year for a player to not win number 1. Like Donk's year is the best year from anyone ever to not win number 1. And that's just facts. So regardless of the fact that he isn't number 1, anyone that knows Counter-Strike will also know this number 2 is better than 89%, not 89, like 80% of the number 1s of other years. So just historically, this is an insane year, regardless. It's just facts. So maybe what I wanted to ask you, and maybe what the people at home would be curious to hear, is how will you remember this year in terms of these 2 players? Like, what is your framing for like zonk? There we go. For
zonk reunited with donk
or ZywOo.
Now, so because I was thinking about this a little bit, right? And for me, since donk has come onto our screens, we haven't really ever seen a player like him with that output, right? So we're living in a period of time where we have this rifler, and maybe it coincides with CS2 not being as friendly to AWPs with the 5 bullets and maybe some of the swing to win type situation too. But donk has broken our understanding of like what an individual player's output can be. So when I look at 2025, if I'm thinking, I don't immediately go to players, I go to teams, and I go to its Vitality's year, and it's one of the greatest years of Counter-Strike ever, right? And now they're in the conversation alongside of Astralis. For me, it was Astralis on this pedestal. Well, now Vitality have joined them. So that's where I go. And then after that, I go, okay, well, ZywOo won 2 majors and was the MVP on both events, getting him to be the only player to have ever won 3 major MVPs. In terms of, there's a lot of factors that go into like how I think about it. But this is the problem. This is where I get dragged into this conversation. And like the YouTube comments on the Talk and Counter video from yesterday just makes me like fucking want to disconnect and throw my computer out the window. It's like, Matt, this is why I don't want to be involved in the conversation, because people are just looking to pick a fight over a thing, to me, that is more important to them than it is to me, and maybe more important to them than it is to the actual fucking players. Like, they're both very, 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 very good players. 2 of the absolute best players to ever touch Counter-Strike, and both playing phenomenal Counter-Strike. It's fucking sick. I remember when we used to get ZywOo versus Simple in matches in playoffs, and that was like a really exciting day. I think Peter would say it should be like a national holiday for Counter-Strike, right? Oh, sorry, international Counter-Strike holiday or whatever, right? Like a public holiday type thing. Now we have that with ZywOo and donk.
Just something to add. I don't know who told me this, but there was a funny comment when you're referencing Peter on the awards stream, when you're talking to Harry, or Harry referenced Peter, and someone said, Peter, ? Dupree? What does he have to do with this?
Oh, what,
and
people
had no idea who was being referenced, and obviously it's well, the game will restart in 1 second. TGWRI1S, who came up with the top 20, right? Has been doing the top 20 for pretty much solo for like 8 years.
16 years.
Wasn't solo for 16 years.
Solo or a lot more. I don't know, like 10ish at least.
Since 2010. So essentially, so yeah, that's just a little funny thought. Is like people don't know how it was made forever, because it's like, it's funny when people say, oh, but it's only 2 people deciding, but like for 10 years it's only been 1 person deciding, and there's a reason why it was accepted. It's because there is a lot of merit to it, and it has history and has consistency and like year to year. So
what that helps is the consistency, right? Like just in general, in consistency in how we approach things, right? If we keep it to a relatively small number of people, there's an identity behind it, what we consider important and all these things, right? Like obviously the more people you involve, the more an opinion gets watered down to either a popularity contest or whatever it is, right? And you can kind of make that argument with the panel awards, right? I mean, ultimately, yes, it is all the people that are involved in the teams, but there's not as much there will not be as much space for an opinion that is kind of outside of the norm to actually project itself onto the award, because it will just get watered down to a side of the general populace, right? So that's something that we have going for us in having it be a very small team. I mean, up to now it was 1 to then to 3. Now it's just 2 people for now. We might bring a third one just because it helps, split ties and all these things. But like that's generally the benefit. It's just having it be consistent through the years by having the legacy behind it, the same kind of approach behind it every single year.
Yes. Look, and I just want to reiterate this point one more time for the people in the back. If you're unhappy with what HLTV have done, you can have your own opinion on who it was. That doesn't change anything. I think the reason that people get their panties in a bunch is because HLTV is essentially an institution at this point, as far as that's concerned. So they look at it like this is cut and dry. But at the end of the day, you guys are using your stats database, your criteria, the history that you were just talking about that's been built over time to make the choices that you make. And that's the way she goes. People can do the same however they want, right? I'm fed up of reading these fucking comments. So
for me, I mean, the annoying part for me, I welcome the conversation. It's more about, as long as it's reasonable and as long as it's not just like a surface level take, or just like you take one factor into consideration and you throw that out there as the reason why this guy is above the other guy, when there's like 15 other factors to consider, even if you don't follow our kind of approach, right? Like we've put like maybe 150 hours into this list over the course of the year, probably more, to be honest. This year I would probably say it's closer to 200. And show me another person who will put this much time over the course of a year to decide who the top 20 players of the year were. This, like, it doesn't happen in traditional sports. They will not put this much time anywhere in any award that I could think of. Nobody puts this much time, this much effort into deciding all these awards, all these lists, that at the end of the year, to suddenly see it kind of brought into question by a surface level take is the annoying part for me. But I mean, the conversation is there for a reason. I know that people will have their allegiances and all that stuff, and that's totally fine. I mean, everybody has the right to do that.
Right? We're here anyway. Striker, what do you make of this then? Because this is one of the things I see being said a lot. People are saying, well, if Vitality won, then it should be that because of all the stats stuff that is in Donk's favor, then it should be a like team-based like award, like merit-based, as opposed to best player. That's an argument I have seen a lot of people make comments of. So is there an easy answer to that?
I think I think people really misconstrue what our awards are about, and it's not necessarily that we will look at a guy having 8 trophies and then think, okay, that means his overall rating means more than the other person's. It's about all the context that brings, right? So ZywOo having 132 or whatever he was for the year is like effectively more impressive over the year because he played in all the finals, because that's a rating that comes against absolutely the top level of opposition, pressure, all these things. As you go further in the tournament, there's more pressure on you, and the more you prove it, the more that has merit, right?
Okay, I want you to keep going, but I need to jump in, because then what people will say to that is people will come in and say, yeah, but Donk got let down by his team. If he was in the finals, if he was in these type of games, then he would have been doing this regardless. And then they throw that at you.
I'll actually read a comment on HLTV that I read, and it just like it hit the spot so much that I was almost surprised that somebody gets it to this degree. So I'll just read it out. I've seen people claiming that the MVP. What, sorry? Username is Nightmare1.
Nightmare1. Shout out to Nightmare1.
This is from 9th of January, so before even the actual award was handed out, and this guy got it completely spot on. I've seen people claiming that the MVP isn't necessarily the best player of the tournament, and that players with higher ratings who didn't even reach the final deserve the title. That's completely wrong. For example, at IEM Katowice 2025, everyone thought donk had the MVP locked before the final, but ZywOo absolutely crushed him in the title match and snatched it away. The same thing happened at IEM Dallas. People thought TaZ was the guaranteed MVP regardless of the results, but ZywOo literally ripped it out of his hands. You have to make the final to even be in the conversation for best player, because you never know how someone will perform under that pressure. You can't base greatness on what ifs. The reality is that across a dozen plus tournaments in 2025, donk only outperformed ZywOo at Bonty S1, S2, and IEM Cologne. In every other event, ZywOo was the superior player. And like, other than the fact that, you know, people think that we can only award an MVP to a guy who was in the final, technically that is not true. We haven't done it yet because we haven't seen a case crazy enough, but we would definitely be willing to go past the final and look at semifinalists. If, you know, if I put out an example, like if, you know, all the players in the final weren't necessarily stand out over the course of the tournament, it was so watered down between the players that nobody really stands out too much, and somebody would be so dominant like a donk in a semifinal that he would, let's say, be worthy of that MVP regardless of not making that final, right? So there would be a case where that's possible, and I'm almost surprised it hasn't happened with the level of like individuals that we have in the game at the moment. But that's, this entire comment absolutely explains everything. And I mean, I even did kind of in a conversations with some of the people behind the scenes, there were people who DM'd me about this like number one conversation. If you go through all the events where both of them played together, and this is why we said at 11 out of the 14 events ZywOo was the better player, we deemed ZywOo the better player. And if you look deeper, like at every single event, there's a reason why that happened, right? I can actually, like, I'll just bring it up. Wait 1 sec. I can go through it, because I think it really underlines our thinking about how we look at one tournament on its own and how we decide who's better. Jesus, fuck Twitter and its whole chat thing being separate now, and you have to go into that instead of the messages and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I did like a comparison for every tournament that they were both together, other than the 3 that donk was at the MVP at and obviously was the better player. So Katowice, no, donk wasn't even good in the final in the direct head-to-head. ZywOo literally took it away from him, right? Pro League, no, statistically, ZywOo was basically equal over the event with an extra final match. Lisbon, ZywOo outdid donk statistically and went the match further. Lisbon was probably ZywOo's best performance of the year. Rivals, definitely not. Donk farmed the fuck out of a FlyQuest and wildcard to get his 137 over ZywOo's 130 in Mouse Spirit Falcons games. Austin, I don't think you can realistically make a case for a quarterfinal MVP, which would be donk, when by semis, ZywOo was equal at worst. And by equal, I mean statistically. By semifinals, ZywOo was equal with donk, who ended in the quarterfinals. And then, you know, his final wasn't amazing, but it was good enough to get him the MVP, right? And it brought his average a little bit down, but that's why kind of that difference comes from, right? Because donk didn't even make it to the semifinals where ZywOo kept making his case, right? EWC, absolutely not, because donk went out in the first match against Heroic, barely even played good in that game. London, donk's 159 is all online group stage. So yes, of course, a fucking amazing, like statistically amazing tournament, but it is all online group stage. He got an MVP for that, which is very rare on its own. ESL Pro League 7th season 2022, not even a good event for donk. It was one of the ones that he missed out on an award on. Chengdu, donk was 1.08 versus the 2 top 10 teams he played. That tells you a lot about the context. Rival season 2, the first one that there's a real case for, but the overall difference isn't that significant. You know, they ended up somewhere close to each other. I think donk ended up in semis. Style of the major, considering his second map in the head-to-head, I would still not give it to him, but at least I could see why you would think he was so overwhelmingly better overall that he could get it. You know, statistically, they ended up quite far away from each other. I mean, donk ended up like 0.2 rating over ZywOo. So that was like the first one that I saw how people could at least make a case that donk was the better player, and we didn't say that, right? So even if you strain that case, at 9 out of the 14 events that they both played at, ZywOo was the better player, right? And then comes Dallas and Melbourne that also ZywOo played and donk didn't play that he got the MVP at, which is above the level of an Astana where donk played but ZywOo didn't play at. So like as you go and consider all this context, you realize just how much like ZywOo just proved it deeper, and even in those tournaments, he outdid donk even statistically in a lot of ways, but only ended up lower statistically just because he did play that extra match where, okay, he wasn't that great, but he still outplaced donk, and he still outdid him statistically by that time. So that's why we consider the deeper stuff more important in a way, because that's where you will get tested the most, and that's where your statistics are kind of most likely to go down, and that's where your consistency will go down, because the deeper you go in a tournament, generally your average performance goes down, right?
So he wouldn't have been their striker if his teammates weren't better. They're not dragging him down. I think we could go on with this forever.
And you can't make that excuse though. Like that's the point. That's what this guy said, right? Like you can't base your arguments on what ifs. Like yes, donk would have had those numbers, but we've seen that it happens that he wouldn't. When he plays a Vitality he hadn't. His average rating against Vitality was like 120. Whenever he plays Vitality, he just doesn't really perform to the same level. And of course, you can say, yeah, that's because Vitality is this amazing team and it's much better than his team and blah, blah, blah. But like, obviously, if donk outperforms him in the head-to-head even, then how can you make a case that donk is the better player, So it's just like people aren't really willing to look into the context deeper and what that really means, and just look at the last numbers and say, yeah, that means this rating over that rating means that's the better player. That's not the case.
I just want to say two things. I think it's super funny when people try to talk about Spirit like they have fucking Kyojin and Misuta on their lineup and not Shiro, zont1x, Tanir, whatever. Like super, like magixx, one of us. Like now magixx is back and everyone thinks he's the best support player of all time or something. How are we brainwashing ourselves like to believe both that they have great players and horrible players that can't do anything to help donk at the same time? Like the fact that Overdrive comes out and says like, well, ZywOo has drops and who does donk have? Bro, you're literally the scout. You're literally scouting players for this team, and Shiro is on this team. Are you fucking kidding me? Who are you making fun of? This is literally your job, and these are your players that you found, and now they're shit suddenly. I thought they're great when they want to say, what is going on? Like, how is this the same how can we have the same conversation at I don't know.
This was the whole point of the purge, boys. So this is perfect. So just give me 1 second, all right? Just 1 second. Just wait 1 second.
He's gonna shake it off.
All right. Your neighbors are going to be somewhat confused.
Well, my landlord has to change my fucking hot water unit under my sink, so maybe he lives above me. Maybe you fucking hear that and understand.
Also, below you is Dinko, right?
Below me is Dinko, and he's not here. He's in Ireland. And next door is Henry. So they'll fucking get it. Okay, I'm fucking...
They'll just think it's a FaZe game, so it's good.
Anyway, fuck. Okay, let's go. Let's move on.
Yeah. There's people are unhappy. There's a lot of unhappiness going around, but we need to enjoy the positives of life, and that is that it's over.
Yeah, it's over. All right, let's jump into the next thing here. Okay, let's get into Skinionaire. This is one I've done 10 questions for this week. If you are just joining us, you don't know what Skinionaire is, welcome. Welcome to Kick Chat. This is Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire, brought to you by Epidermis Association. Type the code word in chat right now for your opportunity to enter to the draw. You guys know what to type, right? You know what to type. If you want to enter the draw, if we get all 10 questions correct, there is a $50 skin on the line for one lucky user. They're typing the wrong thing. There we go. So some of you are right. Someone actually sandbagged. Whoever did it first. Who did it first? Hoped for luck is just sandbagging so hard right now. But Forks Panda, he gets it. Okay, so this week we're going to do 10 questions because we're going to be recapping everything that happened. Or not everything. That would be difficult to do. Some of the main things that happened last year, 2025. And when these quiz questions come up, we can pause, we can talk about them, we can reminisce a little bit, we can take our time. Does that sound good with everybody?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Okay. Sounds fun. Okay, so let's get into this. I curated this quiz yesterday. Let's jump into it. Question number 1. Remember, type the code word in chat right now for your raffle ticket. Okay, Question 1. Train replaced what map at the start of 2025? Was it A, Vertigo, B, Anubis, C, Overpass, or D, Inferno?
Vertigo.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Okay, nice easy one there. So we started off 2025 with Vertigo being replaced and Train coming in, and we've just gone into 2026 with Train being removed and Anubis coming back at the dismay of everybody wanting cash. So that's something there. We do have an Anubis segment a little bit later, which we could talk about, but we could do it. Nah, fuck it, let's do it later because it's about this year, not about last year. Okay, question number 2. Skinpocalypse tanked the market. 2 billion wiped out from what skin site disasters? Valve bans, gold trade ups, and Genesis uplink crash. HLTV glitch, major sticker flood.
This is going to be the second one. Gold trade ups and Genesis uplink crash. I don't know what the Genesis uplink crash is.
Well,
to be
it
honest.
should just say Genesis uplink because the crash is what it caused. So I kind of left the answer. In the answer, if that makes sense.
No Valve bans. No one is banned. The cheaters are still out there. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I don't play Premiere, so.
I did a lot of knife trade-ups, and then I eventually traded it for a M9 bayonet. I think I've got like a sapphire one, like a blue one. It's kind of nice. So I got something good in the end, you know?
Do you think I would play better if I had a knife skin?
I thought that, but I said to Rush today, because we've been playing some Prem games, and I said it doesn't, it's just the same. I don't feel any different. Yeah, I if anything, I just feel like a bit of a grub. So
did you get the monitor from Shoxy?
No, we will need to hit him up for that, won't we?
He fully ignored.
Yeah,
he just said, "Ha ha ha." This is like hitting up a girl. Is like, oh, you know, in a little jokey way, inviting her out, and she's like, "Ha ha ha," and nothing after that. You're just like, this is worse than being ghosted. I feel like.
Mate, Zoe are throwing monitors out like candy. Surely we can get our hands on a couple of 600 hertz bad boys. You know, come on, man.
As I said, Maybe I would settle for a 360.
I'm on a 360 right now. It's pretty good, but I would like a 600.
I just got a new PC, so you know
you need the upgrade.
I need. I got a new mouse. I'm not going to advertise.
Okay,
but I think it's good.
Okay, nice. Question number 3. So a 2 from 2. Bestia's Visa Nightmare had them booted from Austin. Who replaced them? Pain, Legacy, Furia, or Imperial?
This Legacy, great breakout year. Bro, who was on the top 28th, 29th? That was Dumal?
Lato.
Lato?
No, it was 30.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, did we ever see, because I remember the Bestia owner, see you in court? Did we ever get wind of a court case? Do you guys remember that?
Oh, I never heard of
Don't think so.
Never heard of anything. I mean, you're laughing now.
It was a generational drama, wasn't it?
It was a generational drama. Actually, we should have.
That's another one we should leave in the previous year.
What, court cases or visa issues or both?
I mean, both.
I mean, the Bestia situation very specifically and the way it was portrayed publicly was absolute shit show. Yeah. But, you know, turned out Legacy kind of decent team in the end, you know?
Yeah, they went on to have a pretty decent year after all. So, yeah, that was one of the more notable dramas over the course of the year. That's for sure. Okay, next question. Question number 4. Tenzu's Dust 2 versus G2, 5 overtimes, 28-25. How many kills shattered the all-time major map record? Was it A, 42, B, 50, C, 56, or D, 36?
So that would be...
Sure was...
What is the score? 29-25?
Yeah, 28-25.
Okay, so that is 53 rounds.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 56 because of what you're saying. I think over one KPR should be more impressive.
I remember
50.
Visually, I kind of remember a top coverage image on HLTV.
Ooh,
I feel like it's in my. I don't know if I'm just visualizing. Am I?
But so what are you saying? Is it?
I think 56.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Locking in 56. Correct answer is 56. And he's not even on a team now. You know, that's kind of sad. But that was a banger of a game. That was an absolute banger of a game. It was a fun one to watch. And yeah, crazy map there from
benching in general, one of the dramas of the year, and still kind of weird and confusing. The news that came out with him, like looking for a team and then being open to opping. It's just like, what the... I'm lost for words.
This is the fact that they haven't said anything like real about the benching just makes it all even more suspicious. And like, I'm sure like people are trying to find out behind the scenes, and like that's costing him jobs as well. Like it's kind of crazy.
It'd be nice to get to the bottom of it and be able to talk to like Messioso or someone and them to be able to speak candidly about it all, or from ZywOo himself, just so we could understand what happened, because it is a shame, right? And I thought with some of the stuff that we saw happening towards the tail end or even the start of this year, they had like the Tonight Show Mongolian edition where ZywOo was with 910 and Messioso and stuff on the show. I thought, oh, okay, he's going to be returning. He's going to go back to the roster and everything will be as it was. But no, it's cobrazera in there and ZywOo's out in the wind. So would love to just get something a little bit more concrete, because I don't even know what to think happened at all. Like I can't even make a thing up of what possibly happened. So
I mean, that's the crazy part, right? Because now we know he wants to come back, and he's like, there's nothing preventing him from coming back technically, but he's not coming back to that same team. Obviously something happened. What? Who the fuck knows?
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe 2026 will offer some answers. Next question. I think we're up to question 5. Yeah. MongolZ, the Eternal Bridesmaids in 2025. How many grand finals did they make? Was it 6, 5, or 4?
Really sure it's 6.
I also would say 6. It was Cluj, right, that they won?
Bucharest. Wait.
Which Bucharest? No, Bucharest.
Oh, maybe not. So Cluj, they won.
Yeah.
They made
Cologne final. Or we can go chronologically, maybe. Bounty?
I'm just trying to...
Bounty final? Bounty
the first one was Eternal Fire against...
I shouldn't be helping you.
Yeah, okay. So not that.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to get there in the time, to be honest.
Don't worry about this.
No.
Not Katowice, for sure.
No.
They played as Alex or whatever.
EPL?
EPL, first EPL final, I think.
Yeah. First EPL they did.
Then
am I crazy? I think so.
Cluj, as previously mentioned, is 2. Then... Major, no. What was it before the major?
Dallas, Melbourne.
Nothing there.
There's Rivals. First Rivals was Falcons, Vitality. I think it's 6. I just remember there being 5 second places, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I can't remember if I'm going to name all the tournaments.
6. Let's just go for 6. Yeah.
All right, locking in 6. Correct answer is... Dun, dun, dun. 6. So you're right. It was Cluj, and then it was EPL, and they were also in the Lisbon final. They're in the Dallas final as well, right? They're in the Cologne final, and I'm missing one.
We were in Dallas
second EPL?
We did the... No, we weren't in Dallas this year. Doing the podcast. That was last year.
Oh, we weren't. No, so they were in 6 finals over the course of the year. So yeah, we'll see what happens with MongolZ this year. Question number 6. PGO had to overcome a big challenge. Was it A, the audio guy, B, the team Cabal, or C, the rising cost of eggs?
Well, all 3 are actually correct. So I think they defeated the audio guy. They defeated the audio guy. We actually kind of get him here and there on a rental.
Yep.
And a loan. The team Cabal, I really like that framing. Was that from you or from Striker?
I think it was me.
I think Striker brought up the concept and you named it.
Yeah, like, Cabal's a good word.
Yeah,
it's such a nice word.
It's just shadowy Cabal. It's just like so sinister.
I think we were wrong, by the way. I was just looking through the mouse thing just to go back. It is 5.
I'm pretty sure it's 6, man.
I'm looking at the fucking thing.
Don't make me go and check it right now. I'm going to go check it.
Because
I'm checking it right now.
I see 5. Cluj,
anyway,
Dallas,
this will be the team Cabal, so we can get that one.
I'm locking in team Cabal. Event history, 2025.
Okay, you're going to look at exactly the same thing
Cluj,
I'm looking at.
EPL, Lisbon, Dallas, Cologne.
That's it.
Oh, fuck, I was wrong. Okay, well, either way, it was 5. Whatever, they're in 5. But I'll give you the right answer anyway because I'm a charitable guy. It appears though that PGL have overcome the Cabal because in 2025 they had more teams start to attend as the year went on, and this year they have 9 of the top 10 teams who are going to be playing in their Cluj event. So that's great news.
Yeah, I didn't expect that big of a jump, to be honest. I know that's probably their only event that they will be that competitive in out of the whole year.
What about Astana?
I mean, it being the same time as Atlanta and all these things is going to be it's going to be a struggle, I think.
Just for the viewers at home, the reason why this is happening is because of the timing being kind of close to the cutoff, right? For the major invites. So that's why Cluj has grew in interest.
It's 1.25 million. It's an arena event.
Yeah.
Got a lot of good
It's
things
not that close, but it is PGL's last event, and it's like there's only like 2 events after that.
Yeah, but after that,
and
it's EPL online.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Rotterdam's only 16 teams.
Yep.
So this one has definitely some keen and I also I think one of the things is if you took Cluj off and then you played EPL, it's online Counter-Strike, which when I was talking to Jack and Apex about it, it's not very enticing. It seems like Vitality are going to skip it. Yeah. Okay, that one's correct. Okay, jump into the next one here. Question number 7. Boros accused who of being involved in match fixing? Was it A, Jacob, B, Steele, C, somebody, or D, someone?
The fact that the answer is somebody is so good.
There you go.
Locking in C, somebody. But yeah, remember Boros accused somebody, and was it his brother or someone's brother, of being involved in some type of match fixing situation or asking him to match fix? Never really got to the bottom of it. He made a statement and then that was it. He just made a statement out of the blue. Then people spoke about it for a couple of days and then that was it. That's all that happened.
And he hasn't said anything, of course.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, that was a whole thing that happened. We also had I don't remember the team name, but we had that whole drama where there was someone who was using a feed of a camera of another player and it wasn't actually him. Remember that?
God.
Right?
Was this Ruby or am I crazy?
Ruby and those guys, though, are the few variations of the team name and different and concept constellations or roster.
There was quite a few, so there's Khan was a team, right? KHAN. They were one of the teams that was in there. There's a whole bunch of different names that was involved in that stuff within the tier 2 and online circuits that was going on within 2025. Okay, next question. First team to go back-to-back on majors since Astralis in 2019. Which duo of teams did Vitality beat in the finals? Is it A, Spirit and Mouse, B, MongolZ and FaZe Clan, C, Legacy and MongolZ, or D, Falcons and Furia?
B.
That's an easy one. You got to get some easy ones out here for the boys. When you look at the year we had and the teams that you would think are contenders to Vitality, MongolZ or FaZe are really not those names, are they?
Yeah.
Especially not at the point that MongolZ played against Vitality in the final. Maybe after that, they started to mature a bit more and we took them a bit more seriously. Well, not that we didn't take them seriously. It's just that
that was kind of the start
reps.
of it, right? So.
Yes. They took a map off them in the final, which was exciting, right? And then I think the most exciting thing about the FaZe final, other than the FaZe run at the start of the major, was the fact now we have best of 5 major finals. So that's a cool little nugget from 2025 that we will get to take with us going forward in the major circuit. Next question. Last couple of chances, guys, to type the code name in chat right now. Okay. Anim Graph 2 overhauled what? First person weapon animations, One Punch Man Season 3, or Subtic? That's a niche anime joke right there. Not sure how many people are going to get it.
Is it a different type of animation in the season?
They've really dropped the ball, mate. It's dog shit. They've ruined it. One Punch Man was great, and now it's just they've fucked it.
I have to say,
fucked it.
Every anime that's has great animation, generally don't like it.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like when people hype up animation, I was like, this is probably not for me. But One Punch Man, I watched a few episodes from the start, the first season. Looked pretty chill. Kind of don't care about the animation, if I'm completely honest.
Fair enough.
I just see the story for what it is, regardless of how it looks. Because I'm deep like that,
Okay. Well, fair enough.
But it would be first-person weapon animations, I'm pretty sure.
That's correct. That is correct. I hope that we do get the third-person weapon animations in 2026. That's what I'm excited about. One of the hopeful pending updates from Volvo. Okay, final question. VRS stands for what? Valve ranking system, Very Real Sausages, Valve regional standings, or Volvo reads smart?
Last one is a banger.
Valve regional standings.
Looking in C, Valve regional standings. And the reason I do this is the year of 2025 was the first year that the VRS controlled the major qualification. And that's the point I wanted to leave Skinionaire off at. We will be getting the winner of that in a moment. The $50 skin up for grabs for one lucky user in chat. But I wanted to leave you guys with a question that I was talking to the gentleman in the conference about. We'll start with you, Prof. Do you think the first year of the VRS with the TOR was a success?
I think it was don't want to say big success, moderate success. Moderate success. I thought it was going to be worse. Here we go. It's going to be the same guy, right? Crawley.
Imagine if it was. Oh. A couple of my Discord users in there. What is that? CS502.
CS502.
Congratulations, CS502. Our people will reach out to your people, probably in the Kick chat right now, to get your particulars, and we'll get you the skin as soon as possible, or however it works. So congratulations, that was Skinionaire. And Crawley's in chat and he didn't win, so that's good news. Moderate success, Prof. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are a bunch of issues. There's some teams that were like pulling out, which is feeling not a great feeling, but overall there's also been new teams coming in. 100 Thieves is back, and they feel like they can, have a shot at coming to the major as a new team. We saw NIP making the whole run from being completely unranked and going through a lot of different approaches to ultimately, managing to qualify for the major. And I think some things have been optimized, and the knowledge is out there that I think everyone should be smart enough to be able to put together a team, and the good teams will move up in the ranking appropriately. I think early on in the first 3 to 4 months, the results and the ranking were not always, the ranking was not always following the quality of the teams, because people didn't know how to min-max things properly. I think now the playing field is pretty much evened out, because everyone knows what they need to do. You need to have your 10 LAN games, right? If you're not having your 8, 9 LAN games, what are you even doing? You're not really taking this seriously. Now there's enough open LANs that people can go and play pretty much whenever. There's the Riga guys, Fragadelphia, all of these different organizers out there.
Draculan. Was that the Riga guys?
No, Riga is Latvia.
Okay. Draculan was Romania.
Draculan. I feel like Draculan and Fragadelphia probably towards the top. Probably Draculan in terms of organization seems to be the most, solid one. And you just go there, you play. There's a bunch of stuff in Sweden happening. You know what you need to do. And I think that's going to lead us to even better results and major lineups in the future. I think you can't really complain about the teams that were at the major in terms of, you can complain about the distribution, maybe, Asia has too much or whatever. But for the slots that were there, there's no one that missed out that you're just like, this team, we're supposed to be here, and this team was so dog shit or whatever. So
it's probably a bit of gaming of the system that we haven't seen exploited to its highest capacity yet, which I know, right, is to do with the Asia region of, Mongolia and China running a lot of events to prop their teams up to take those spots, whereas it's a bit harder for Australia / Oceania to do the same. And then you can even get into more micro nuanced about that whole region overall. Same type of thing is happening a little bit in terms of North America versus South America. Obviously, Brazil's able to run a lot of events, but Flom just ran one of his now as well. So that's going to start to build a bit too.
I think that's also one thing where just whose fault is it? Who is going to build events for your region if not you?
Sure.
What are you saying? It's easier in Brazil. Brazil is also fucking huge. It's not like you can just get on a scooter and get from one side of Brazil to another to play a LAN. You also need to fly around, right? You just need to organize a bunch of LANs, and you need to go to those LANs as a team in order to get points. Australia is obviously also super disconnected, and it's pretty hard because the amount of money in Australia for CS is very low. So that's the biggest problem there. But it needs to have someone pushing for stuff. And what Flom is doing is essentially that. I don't know if he's making anything off of this. They're losing money, making money, but he is creating VRS points for teams there. If you go on the tournament and you look at the VRS results at the end on HLTV, everyone moved up. Literally everyone moved up. Everyone
they had LAN games in there,
because no one had LAN games before, and you just need to have people like that in your region. And that does in some ways reflect the quality of the region. If you have tournaments like this, it means that there's more people competing. It's going to be better. And of course, there's some abuse potentially happening, but the system is a system. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah. No, I think that one of the biggest wins, and this is one of the things in that conference that I did that people touched upon, is the fact that...
Sorry to interrupt, but someone just said Torpedo, I think. Flom lost money. He just said this on stream a few minutes ago.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess like it's saying that he's open to build and can attract more sponsors and all that type of stuff. And to do it in Vegas as well doesn't feel like it'd be cheap. But it feels like the tier 2 circuit, or at least the regeneration of that and some of these smaller LAN events and stuff that are popping up and bigger teams having to go there, that feels like one of the best side effects of the VRS within the first season. Obviously, there's other things that, we spoke about this last year in terms of, the quality control of the events and stuff. And that's going to be up for question to some degree. But I think a lot of that is going to come down to reputational damage that these smaller events will do themselves if they put on something that's poor, and then teams will just avoid it and not go to it at future events, or at least that's how I hope it'll function. And then finally, on top of this, going into 2026, what we saw get announced by Starletter in conjunction with Stake. I don't know if you guys caught much of that, but that feels like that's going to be a pretty big deal for the season coming ahead.
Yeah, 100K lands throughout the year. 14
teams play. Well, I think there's 14 teams invited to a closed qualifier. There's an open qualifier portion. 6 teams from 13 onwards in the VRS invited directly to the LAN portion. So there's 2 qualifier spots for the LAN portion, and a big chunk of it will happen online. But there will be a LAN portion in the Schengen area with 8 teams. And it'll all be best of 3 apparently.
There's loads of that stuff coming. Even there was this series of the Danish tournaments that are obviously a lot smaller than that, but like loads of there was like 16 or 17 open lands that are going to happen in like the Copenhagen Plaza Towers, basically over the course of like 8 months. Sorry. So like clearly we are ramping up.
Yeah, and that's all good, right? That because I think that's one of the parts of Counter-Strike that we really need for it to thrive. It can't just be really restricted to the top end. We need people to be able to go at the fun level, the semi-pro level, and obviously the pro level, because Counter-Strike, for most of us, especially the old heads like me, was about LAN Counter-Strike and going and being involved in those type of things. So I think more of them, the better, and that's exciting, and we'll get to see how that kind of filters for tier 2, tier 3, et cetera, et cetera. Striker, for you, mate, in terms of reflecting on the year that just was, what do you reckon? Like VRS, you can include, or VRS can be a focus, but how was 2025? Because it feels like Counter-Strike's just going from strength to strength. IMHO, TBH, LOL, Rufflecopter.
Yeah, I think honestly I would consider 2025 to be a roaring success in terms of what it means for the future of Counter-Strike, because of it opened up a lot of space for new tournament organizers to start pumping some money in, and even though teams are probably going to say they're less profitable than before, that generally means because the pie is getting spread to way more teams now, but I would consider that a good thing rather than a bad thing. Obviously, we've had some teams pull out of the space entirely because of, they say because of the causes of the circuit, but I'm not necessarily sure that I see it, because effectively their chunk of the pie they didn't necessarily earn through merit as much as people have to do it now. So I think a lot of these side effects that are happening are more about organizations setting up their structures based on an outdated model rather than a failure of the system entirely. I do think it's just going to take some time for these orgs to adjust to the new reality and to the new contracts and all that stuff that have to happen once the outdated ones run out. But ultimately, just look at the bigger amount of opportunities we have for not just tier 1 teams but also tier 2, because the overlap there, I think the floor there increased by quite a big amount in terms of how many teams got an opportunity to play at some of these bigger events, because there are so many more of them, and because of all the skips that happen at PGLs and blah blah blah. Who knows if a legacy would have been able to make the rise that they've had, without the increased amount of opportunities and all these things. So I think as much as there were definitely things to improve, they did throughout the year. The rules improved dramatically even at the halfway point of the year, to allow tournament organizers to have a little bit more leeway than it was originally, to create some formats that actually make sense for them. And I would say outside of like smaller issues that we still have to address, maybe some slight ranking changes that are still need to be addressed to some degree, I think in terms of what it means for the healthiness of Counter-Strike, I think it has done worlds of help.
To whack this up for me, Lucas, now, because Graham did up a bunch of bar graphs to do with kind of the earnings across. Now, there's a lot of data on this, right, everybody? So I can put this. Actually, I'm not logged into the chat, so I can't really paste it. But Graham did a bunch of these different bar graphs that are to do with the teams making money throughout 2025 and where it came from. So just an example, if you look at the top here, Vitality being the highest earners makes the most sense, right? They this is for orgs, right? He's written here, some people ask for per event distribution. Blast participation fees gone in 2026 contributed mostly to the amount of different teams. Bounty had 32 teams each, and Rising invited 4 teams from South America, North America, and Asia, where teams don't typically have opportunities for core circuit events. So as a general rule, club share rewards performance on the server at the specific event. I don't know if this is including just raw prize money here.
No,
Maybe.
What's the total number?
1.9 or something.
Yeah, it's just under 1.9. So I don't think that's including prize money, right?
It's definitely not, because their overall earnings are over 3 million in just the prize money plus club share. You know, so like all the incentives, blast participation, all that stuff on top would be extra.
Yeah, so here it's got ESL club share, ESL annual incentive, blast participation, blast frequent flyer points, PGL, who obviously moved into the club share model a little bit later, Fisher, CAC, and Thunderpick. And that's kind of a breakdown where the orgs were making money over the course of the year. So yeah, it feels like there's, and then on top of that, you still have the majors with 32 teams and sticker money. And I don't know any figures of what the sticker money is looking like with any of the teams based off of Budapest or off of Austin. That'd be interesting to know kind of how top heavy it is or whatnot, but that's still
I think Austin was pretty rough.
Yeah.
I don't know about, but I haven't heard anything new about Budapest, but I think Austin was worse than Shanghai, even from what I heard.
Yeah, I think so we can get rid of this now, because people want to go find this on Messioso's Twitter. I also made a tweet, I think at the time, once Blast have released their frequent flyer stuff and ESL have released their revenue share stuff. So there's money flying around. It's just not as such a tight group.
There are some good questions regarding how this year impacted like the buying and selling of players. I don't know if you want to. Where do you have the failed Rostermania talk?
Well, we're going to jump into that for 2026 stuff. So we're just around the corner from that.
Yeah.
Let's just cap off here. I think one thing that I still want to see, like I think the game, as much as people want to complain about it, people are always going to be complaining about it, right? Like it was the same when we moved from like, you know, through different areas and iterations. And I think that there's still room for improvement from Valve. And one of the things when I talk to them, they're like, you know, oh, you guys should be like harsh on us. Obviously don't tell them to kill themselves and stuff like some of you fucking absolute apes out there are doing. But like in terms of the critique on things that they're not doing and the expectation that you have, I think as long as it's realistic feedback, then I think that's all good and well. I think that I really want to see this anim graph 2 thing. And I see Reddit threads, like, because I made a comment about this on maybe it was Twitter or something, and then people were like, oh, you know, they don't even know what this does, I have a pretty good idea of like what I expect it to do. What I expect it to do is change the models and what we see and reduce the packets of that. So the game, in my mind, should feel more responsive, which is one of the bigger issues, because we're only a couple of years into CS2 now, and the biggest thing that people just default to complaining about is it's subtick's fault. I think what I would advise people to do is, instead of just going, oh, this is subtick's fault, actually explain the problem that you're experiencing, right? And don't think that you have the answer. Like, don't think that the default is to just blame it on subtick. Maybe there is a solution outside of it just being subtick that they can look at to rectify the problem that you're experiencing, right? I would probably point people in that direction. So that's the big one I'm looking for, this anim graph for the third person models in 2026. But yeah, I would love the game getting a bit more love in terms of the overall game, like where the economy's at the moment, or like, you know, I don't think we need any. I see people like, oh, I had a new gun. I'm like, fuck off, go play Valorant or some shit. Like, this is Counter-Strike. Like, we have a core game, right? This is the core game. So in terms of that, I think there's just like some quality of life stuff and definitely more performance tweaks, so we don't get like memory leaks or like the maps being, you know, dropping the FPS. And I think the big one is obviously how the game feels responsive wise and the swinging stuff, but all of that, if people can come up with good feedback, because I see some of these guys on Twitter who make these really good posts and they do like research and they know stuff, and it's like, okay, that's cool. Like, I don't know if they're right, but it looks cool that someone's doing some work. So yeah, That was just the last bit there. Do we want to jump to a break now, and we'll come back and we'll start focusing on 2026 because we've got to run the halftime break.
Good.
Okay.
Sounds good, yeah.
Let's do it. Lucas, let's go to the ads and we'll BRB. All right, that's the quickest ad breaks to experience on the internet today. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe you guys have ad block. You don't get any ads at all. But either way, we're back underway and we're back into things. Let's now start focusing at the season ahead, right? 2026 is underway already. Bounty is live. We've already touched on that once. We'll touch on it again. Currently, Na'Vi versus Monty is taking place. And yeah, it wasn't a Rostermania. I think there was some potential for some big boy roster changes to happen, but that isn't how things unfolded.
Yeah.
It was all pretty moderate. And one way that I was thinking that we could go through a lot of this was using the Rostermania tracker that you guys had up, which I got the link for right now. And we can kind of just scroll through this together and we can stop and talk about each of the things as they pop up. Some of them are just going to be me reading it because I don't think there's going to be too much to be said. But other parts of it, we can actually get into and maybe touch on what you were just talking about there, Prof, in terms of how it's changed the buying patterns of teams and players. So let me try and share this. Yeah, screen, Rostermania share. Can you see that, Lucas? Okay, cool. So whack that up, and you're just going to have to leave it up, Lucas, because there's a lot to go through right here. So we'll go through as much of this as we think is pertinent. Do you want me to zoom in a bit? Would that be helpful if I... Yeah. Oh, how about that? How's that? That look good? Okay, so this is back on the 16th. This is when the major has just concluded over the couple of days. HLTV placed entire roster on transfer list. That's the first piece of news to hit this Rostermania news thread, I suppose. Then it goes into 9 overhaul team with BNOX and FaZe, and that's quite funny how that ended up with where we know FaZe's at right now. So
I'm really curious what that contract was like if he joined the team and left the team before. Did he even play a game? I don't know.
I don't know.
Not sure.
I have no idea, but it is crazy. Like this is on the 16th as well, and then within the new year he's on Astralis. So that's all happened very quick. We move into this sources device set to join 100 Thieves, which, as we know, ended up happening. Right, we knew Rain was their in-game lead, and we knew Glaive was their coach at the time, and now device making that move away from Astralis. So we know that did eventuate when Payne benched DGT and Davideus. So this one, I don't think was too much of a surprise to me because it felt like they needed a change. They definitely stalled out.
It was just one of those things where you saw that Davideus and DGT were both like throughout all the changes, like role changes on Payne, they were the two that were the most thrown around, and it was clear that they just didn't really find their place on this team, no matter where they were put. And eventually, they obviously put a lot of faith in Snow, taking some of the more aggressive positions. So I think the writing was on the wall after that.
Yeah, I think Snow's the one that's still getting a lot of negative press, though, isn't he? So we'll have to see how that evolves within the new roster. Ash steps down from Gamer Legion. Ash was at the awards. Which award did Ash give away?
Coach of the year, obviously.
Oh, that does make sense. Yeah.
I think we had to leave before that happened, but I think he had a decent speech where he was like, when I think of Coach of the Year award, I would not be thinking I'm giving it to someone else, not like some washed ass player or whatever. So it was a funny one. I think he did a good job. It's not a standard type thing, but we need to diversify a bit.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shock, right? But obviously, with how the second half of 2025 went for Gamer Legion, I don't think there were surprises that there were going to be changes there. I think there's less.
Yeah, sorry.
You're good. Jump in.
No, it's kind of crazy the turnaround Dash has had in terms of reputation from the beginning of last year to now. Because I think beginning of last year, everybody was still like, "Oh, this guy is amazing. Scout all the right people," from the PR move, and obviously Towson ended up working out. But then his search for the right offer has just tagged his entire reputation. Which is insane to me, to be honest.
And maybe, ended up in him taking a bit of time off. So we'll see what happens next.
Of course, yeah.
NIP bench U-Jerks. So this is one that we'd actually heard about during the major, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And we know how that's gone. He's been replaced by Ken. Rare Adam sign Cheng King. That's a nothing bit of news right there. Sources Magisk set to leave Astralis. Magisk has ended up nowhere. off the back of all of this, right? So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if he plays again. He's 27. What type of a team would Magisk be looking to get himself into, you guys think? Do you think he could be one of these players that gets picked up mid-season when certain things don't work for certain teams?
I mean, the way you
think
said
so.
that, like he is going to retire now, I think that's kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, but like, where can you see him going anywhere in the short term?
You said if you will see him play, doesn't mean he'll not play. He'll just play for a team that you will not watch.
Fair, yes. Well,
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you think he'll play for anybody of note?
It's hard to find a spot for him, to be honest.
Someone just said Mouse in chat.
I mean,
Okay.
it would be kind of lateral, right? Like even if it's for like Jimmy or whatever, it would, like, numbers wise, it's not like we think he's going to be that much better. So it's more about whether he's going to fit the role more. I could see it, but not really.
That would be insane for him. Like if he could get on Mouse.
I mean, that would be, look, like in terms of, I do see a world where they could argue themselves into it from like the experience perspective. They need some guy who like knows how to win and all these things that will help them get over that hump. But is it really from that position that you would want that person, and all that stuff? I'm not so sure. Unless they would want to make him the IGL, and just replace Brolin. Also,
is he in the situation where he needs some time off and then return rejuvenated and refreshed?
Bro, he's kind of had a lot of time off anyway, I mean, he just kind of got booted off of Falcons, and obviously he ended up joining Astralis kind of quickly, but it's not like he was like, breaking his back playing loads of events this year. So I don't think that's necessarily needed.
I feel like he'll bounce back on like a top 30 team at least.
Okay.
Like a Fnatic heroic type. That's like worst case. Best case is something like this coming through, like a Mouse.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Gamer Legion bench ZTR. This one came as a bit of a shock because I thought the moving piece was going to be PR. And then I was like, okay, well, if PR and ZTR go, and then I was like, oh, but yeah, then 100 Thieves can buy the core of like Tulsa. Well, I guess they didn't need Hypex, did they? They would have wanted PR. So yeah, PR, because there was that whole thing with PR having the buyback clause with Mouse, et cetera, et cetera. But ZTR's kind of found himself in the wind right now. He's not on a team going into the season. He's been replaced by Snax. But this one I don't think many people saw coming. Did you hear much about this?
Did, just because the T side's not looking that great. I mean,
yeah, but Ash went, right? So if Ash had already gone, maybe you think a new coach could be the difference maker there. But I guess the whole leadership structure has got a reboot in this scenario. So Snax returns, as we just spoke. They played their first officials today with Snax, and they won. They were playing against Passion UA. They lost the opening map of Dust 2, and then they closed things out on Inferno as third and decider. So yeah, that's the Gamer Legion status quo as it goes right now. So Snax is back in the Gamer Legion jersey.
For me, not exciting at all. I feel like it's the wrong direction for Gamer Legion, honestly.
Maybe they just went with a known quantity because they were in an identity crisis with the captain.
Maybe.
I mean, also knew what they were getting out of him, So for them to say, come back, I mean, just kind of speaks to they saw something there that was valuable, right? So that's interesting. I mean, obviously, nobody thought that Snax maybe had what it takes to be like at the absolute elite, but for like a borderline top 10 to top 15 team, that's obviously a different level, So I don't know. I could see it. Not that I'm excited either, but just I could see it.
I just see Gamer Legion as like a development team, and why, like, obviously if you want one person to not be development potential, it's going to be the IGL, and that's fine. But I don't know if
who was the last player that they had that was poached? Because when you say development, are you talking about to be developed and sold, or are you talking about developed players? So then, like, when was the last time they had a player that, like, Emma?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well, now see. PR, but we're still.
But PR didn't get out of jail. He's still
just
there.
I was gonna say it's just turned into a glorified prison for him. So.
And I think that Towson has better output than I think he should. So he could be another one there in the mix. Like Rez is 28 now, I think. So that got away from him quick. I don't know when that happened. The 1931 IEM Babylon champion is still cracking away. So yeah.
There you go.
They had Flam was to Virtus Pro. That was that, I guess. That was their
that's
latest.
Not here?
No, I mean that was last Gamer Legion.
Okay, yeah.
So that was like a year ago.
Paul Flammers, man. Oh dear. BC.Game part ways with Nexa. We saw how that all started to unfold. Obviously, Udana did an interview with that Simple at the major. Remember, that was kind of funny how that aged. BC.Game's part ways with Emmy.
By the way, did you see Nexa came to I don't know if he was in Belgrade already or he probably was already in Belgrade, but he came to the paddle tournament at the awards.
Oh, I didn't come to the awards itself.
Didn't come to anything else. Came to the paddle tournament, got third place, didn't show up to anything else. I think that's
pretty baller. Okay.
Kind of disrespectful.
Prof, you know, there's one thing here that's part of this that you just got me thinking about it now, and I don't know if Nexa falls into this category, but if the Counter-Strike players of this world are anything like me, they don't want to wear a suit. Can we get a jersey suit for players to wear? So it's one of those ones that's a t-shirt with the buttons and everything
printed out.
Because they don't want to do it, Prof. They don't want to wear the suits. And I think they should wear the suits, but they don't want to do it.
But you can literally just go to fucking Zara and get a white t-shirt and a blazer and black pants and sneakers.
It's not comfortable for everybody,
You look great. How's that? I mean, I'm not saying it's comfortable, but it's there are some occasions in life you just need to go through. You don't
want to know how many times
you don't need to wear fucking high heels and a fucking dress that's 7 kilos and you need to adjust it every 5 seconds. It's bro, it's really not that hard for men. I'm just saying it's not that hard.
All right. Well, maybe we'll see. We'll see what we can do in the future. M80 part ways with Hexed. I was a little bit surprised with this because it sounded like they were pretty happy with Hex Edition, but I guess it's because they were able to get JBA or JBA, which
I mean, once you learn that becomes kind of
They saved the young man, didn't they? They saved the young man from Wildcard. Yeah, that was another thing that I had in my 2025 stuff was the fucking AI shit from Wildcard.
But didn't they use it? It seems like they used it again for the announcement because some of the stuff that they said was literally not true. Is what is it? Was it about Carson or some of the whoever they pulled out is Breakout move or whatever. And dude's been around for forever.
Yeah.
So that's the yikes.
But I like this. M80 won the FML, which is Flom Mythic LAN, over NRG just over the weekend in Vegas when we were doing the award show. So it was a win for the boys. So yeah, we'll see how this team continues to develop. I liked the stuff we saw from Swish. He definitely bounced back late in the major, not late in the major, but late in the year. He was performing quite well because when they replaced, was it not Slacks? It was Rec. When they replaced Rec, I thought it could have been Rec or Swish who went at the time, but Swish definitely has shown that he's got something to give. Yep. BC.Game continued to bench players, right? So in the last couple of stories you see on these panels, next to when Emmy went, Sasanito's gone. There's the JBA thing. Bench Chopper and Sway, magixx and zont1x return. This is going to be the biggest one, right? This has to be the biggest change of the entire off season.
Yeah, by far.
And this is, I don't want to speak for everybody because under my name it says very excited. I am very excited about this change. Is anybody else very excited about this change?
I'm pretty excited about this change. I think it has a high upside. I think with zont1x you get the baseline of performance, which is pretty good. A pretty good low level, pretty good floor. And then with magixx, I think he has potential to be great in this role. Based on everything we know about him, pretty smart guy, the most socially, I don't know, balancing dude on this team. Doesn't seem to tilt. I think that's something that through the grapevine, I think Chopper had issues in some big games. I don't know. I heard a lot of stuff, so I don't want to throw things out there, not knowing
heard a lot of stuff,
how accurate they are, but. Maybe in some moments, some other people needed to step up for Chopper. That's how I understood the situation. Even when they
step up for Chopper, do you mean in his defense?
No. I mean in terms of calling for him.
Oh, I heard some similar stuff to that too in some pressure matches that they had earlier.
Even when they were winning, in 2024, right? So that's I think it would be these two players that were doing that, zont1x and magixx. So I think
especially zont1x, I think was as a secondary caller. I think I heard a lot of good things about that he was always very vocal, which surprised me to some degree, just because of knowing what you know about him being this kind of very not shy
stoic.
necessarily, but very exactly, very stoic. Doesn't really say a lot, and what he says is just very straight to the point. Doesn't seem like a leader of men or anything like that, So I'm not surprised they didn't make him the IGL, but as a supportive caller, I think he had a lot to say. So that's a cool part.
I'm excited to see these guys get in the server and play because it feels like the firepower has gone up. Like ZywOo, obviously, he's a casualty all of this. He landed on his feet at PARIVISION, which that's probably in my top 3 to 5 changes of the off, maybe even top 3, right? Because him to PARIVISION with what we saw at PARIVISION in the major is great, and then there's going to be less pressure. And I think him replacing AW, who did look quite weak at times in that PARIVISION roster, alongside of that ZywOo guy. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but whatever. High elo, whatever. We'll have to work it out. That's fun for me in that team. But zont1x coming back, which again we never really heard why he got benched in the first place, right? We were like, oh, some personal reasons. Oh, he asked about it last year, whatever. But we never got to the bottom of that. It's a mystery, like the Senzu situation. The magixx one, it feels like, okay, well, this was all part of like a firepower upgrade play that they thought. But it's funny how now this looks like a bigger firepower upgrade than the last set of changes that they did. And I'm like any team that has.
I don't know if I agree with the firepower part necessarily too much. I guess the zont1x for ZywOo, yes, but not necessarily.
magixx Chopper, I reckon.
I mean, now that he's going to be IGL, what do you know? It's just one of those runs, like you don't know.
But he's a baby, bro. He's only 22. This little cat.
But isn't also the kind of the idea for magixx to have different roles now in this team?
That's what I'm curious about as well, because I don't.
Well, he will have to, won't he?
Because zont1x is obviously, like, most of his spots were taken by Tanier, so and I don't expect Tanier to suddenly move. So I feel like zont1x is probably going to have to move quite a bit.
Let's use Mirage as an example here, right, of a map. So let's just use that as a baseline. So if we look at the setup as it is right now, or as it was ZywOo at A, it was obviously donk connector, Shiro the AWPer, and then Tanier was short, and then Chopper was B. Right? Yeah. So then I guess the question becomes, does zont1x get the A guy role, or does magixx go back to that, which is what he was doing before? Or like how does that go?
B anchoring for a lot?
Wasn't it Chopper?
No.
Pretty sure it would have been Chopper
went. I'm pretty sure Chopper went to B anchor once magixx was out.
I think magixx. I think magixx over bulk. I think magixx.
I remember him ticket a lot as well.
Am I crazy? Okay. I feel like I remember him B defending all the time, like with like being behind Forest and shit like that. I could be fucking wrong, but I'm pretty sure I remember a lot of him anchoring B. So I would imagine it's magixx B. zont1x is going to be A.
Yeah, you reckon zont1x today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because zont1x used to be short, right? Before these changes with donk playing a lot of middle. I guess that's not going to happen, right? It's more about the other side. I guess zont1x is just going to get more of the. Yeah, I wonder how that's going to turn out, because obviously Tanier is going to be more of the active lurk, like the guy who has a bit more space to work, right? Versus zont1x, who maybe will have to turn a bit more into magixx type, where he's on the other side, but then turning into an entry late rounds. I'm curious if he's effectively going to become the new magixx, but magixx is going to be the pack guy as the IGL, obviously. So it's interesting how that's going to work.
The balance will be fun to see. For sure. And the temperament of the team is going to be quite trolly, I think, with magixx and Tanier, because both of them can be a funny bunch of dudes. And then zont1x is still going to be the stoic, and donk's going to be...
The vibes on this team are going to be so much better. And like people who to talk to as us journalists and everything, there's so many more people to talk to nowadays. Chopper was getting better, I will give him that. And ZywOo's English was good, just you didn't really hear much from him.
I guess some of the concerns about them was their T sides a bit, though. So we have to see how that evolves, because obviously you have a new in-game leader, but you still have the same coach, and you have a guy who's in-game leading for the first time. So
what do you think about the T side setups? I guess magixx together with donk and Shiro.
Well, that's what I was saying. They have to play pack, and then Tanier and zont1x on the extremities.
Yeah, with Tanier maybe being the more. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I have a little thing that I sent Lucas. You can bring it up just for a second.
Okay.
This is something people saw at the award show. We did some of these funny awards. The m0NESY one was Chinese Girl Crush of the Year. Probably the most familiar one. We made this. Unfortunately, it didn't go out. Benching of the Year, minus zont1x, minus magixx. The idea was for magixx to give this to Hallie. Magixx wasn't excited about this idea. He said if he did this, he would not get armor on pistol ever in his life. So we had to put it on the side. But I think it would have been extremely funny. I think it would be very funny. I think it's a great idea. It's just here for posterity, for history, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now it exists in the universe. People can screenshot it and do what they need to do with it.
It's
yeah, okay.
All right. I like from talking to magixx, I don't want to give away too much because I don't know how much of that he wanted to tell me or he didn't want to tell me in confidence or not. He never said I can't say it, so I will say that. But the way that he was talking is like, I will never be the bitch for donk again, or something like those words, And I don't know how much it's trolling, how much is magixx just fucking with me or whatever it is. So I'm curious about how the roles will work out.
Interesting.
I don't know, but do you see zont1x becoming that? Because I don't necessarily, because he's so passive, so kind of risk averse that I just don't see him becoming like the guy who will just jump every corner and all that stuff. I just feel like it has to be magixx. Like, who else is going to do that?
Especially if he's in the pack.
I would say TaNeer before zont1x, but it's again, zont1x is a guy that's going to do what makes sense for the team. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's playing to play Team Counter-Strike for the W, right?
But it's just more about stylistically, right? Like you don't necessarily put these people in like first guy in a lot of the time because it's just not their nature. They're just not going to be the ones who will just like go gung ho,
The skill set that we see him at least, body shotting and such. Is not really the best
it's not
thing
what you wanted an entry necessarily because you kind of need to be fast. It's like force bullet accuracy is more important than that.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Jax's team disbanded. Cool. AM bench GXX.
Move on.
Yep. It's
basically an academy, like it's a very overperforming like kind of agency type team, where they have nowhere else to play.
That's fair.
They're doing really well for that, to be honest. Like that's a great story.
This is an interesting one. Legacy part ways with Chucky, so a change in the coaching department over there to come. So this is curious to see because Chucky was with them for a pretty long period of time.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens there. Chopper takes a break. Yep.
Keep moving.
Yep. Keep moving. Falcons managed to deny transfer rumors.
This is the interesting one because. Yeah, I don't want to call.
We're not at Christmas yet. What the hell?
We're almost there. Just the day before. Well,
I don't want to call bullshit entirely because I'm not 100% certain. But there were so many rumors around Falcons just before this came out, and it's not just from the random leakers. I'm talking about like things that I heard from like people that would tell me like very accurate things in the past. There were a lot of things flying around Teslas and all these things. So I kind of wanted to call bullshit on this at the time when they said this, but I wasn't confident enough in the actual information to do it.
Well, it turned out to be a true statement, didn't it?
No, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that at this point they didn't think this. I'm saying in the lead up to this,
yes,
they were.
Well, we all heard the same stuff at the major.
Yeah. So that's curious. It's curious that they came to the decision fairly quickly without maybe 100% knowing what's out there. So that's. Like it does speak to the intent,
They would have been the ones to knock over the first domino, right? Because if like they got Jimmy, then MongolZ have a problem, then MongolZ bring PR, right? And then
all these things happen.
Who the fuck? Where does TaZ go? Who the fuck knows what happens from there,
that's
right?
exactly what I thought would happen, to be honest. That like the domino would start from here, and obviously that didn't.
Next one. Well, that's the thing. I think though, as well, just quickly, I think Falcons feel like they're in a strong enough position where they can contend. Right, even though people want to talk shit and but regardless, they have only had Kyosuke in Tier 1 Counter-Strike for 6 months. MongolZ had only joined a couple of months before that. So a little bit of roster stability for them, considering the pieces of the puzzle they have, maybe not a bad thing. And, if they can't find the success they're looking for in the next 6 months, then maybe the next offseason is the opportunity to try and make that move or something like that. I see a lot of people going, oh, yeah, no, financially I saw this or that. I even though people have seen that, I highly doubt there is any money issues over there. NRG bring OC back from the bench as Exotic steps down. We only saw Exotic play very few events, but apparently he said balancing competitive CS with running multiple businesses become increasingly difficult. He's like that guy we all used to play with who is like the man with all the bitches and he was doing all these things, and he had a Lamborghini and was always up to something, and just played Counter-Strike for fun. So I hope Exotic is out there.
Somehow there's in every scene there's always that guy. Somehow every scene has that guy. We have that guy, or we used to have that guy.
Everyone had that guy. Our guy was called in WA this guy, he was initially called Remix, and then he ended up either annoying everybody or making a bad name for himself in a way. And then like 3-4 months went by, and then he came back, and his new name was Rusty, and he pretended to be American. But then as soon as he came to a LAN, we all knew who he was because we knew what he looked like. So I was like, bro, what are you doing? So some of these guys, man, they're just a little bit tapped in the head. They love the lies. We covered that one. Controller stand incident. MongolZ concludes. He's gone to the hunts. Yes, he has. Yep. This one here really caught me off guard. What the fuck happened with Jota wanting to go? And if he knew Anubis was going to be back in the pool, would he have stayed? Why did Jota want to leave?
That's a good question. It is a good question.
Was that the story? I don't remember.
Yeah,
that's what they said. Yeah, I mean that's what the original report said. I don't think Aurora ever really said it publicly that he requested it, but that's what the Turkish outlet said at the beginning.
Because this one surprised me because this isn't even like with the memes in Turkey and all that kind of stuff. This is real. I think I really like Jota and Wakadia. I think they were the future of Turkish Counter-Strike in the Aurora jersey for sure. So it is surprising to see him go, and obviously he was playing in Sangal before, so he's already played in an international team, so there's no reason that he can't go play in another international team. I think he'd just be in this bench position for the next 3 months until the mid-season transfers come in, and then maybe somebody wants to pick him up because I think he's talented. I watched soulfly play a couple of the Aurora games last night. I'll reserve judgment until we get to LAN, but it was an average performance, I'd say. In their match.
Below average, many could argue.
Many probably would argue. Yeah, no, I watched a bit. It didn't look good for him. So yeah, that's what I'll say. But I will. The jury is out until I see them play some proper games on LAN against
more than one match.
Yeah, because Bounty for me is a warm-up event. I think it is for a lot of these bigger teams as well. But we'll get to that soon. Keep flying through. Divisive Magisk to part Astralis. Yep. Sources BC.Game target Saw core. Well, we all know how that kind of unfolded, and this ends up being true. Muterus, Aragorn, and Crazy alongside Simple.
What a combination.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can. I was going to wait till the official news, but we may as well. Who cares? This is the first time we see it. What do you make of this, Prof?
I don't know. I don't even. This is going from. Yeah,
it's kooky, right? Like it feels like we've gone down the rabbit hole with Alice, and now we're in Wonderland.
All in to buy this roster to get a ticket to go to Krakow. So everything is on the line. I think the tickets
weren't that expensive. They just wanted to come and watch.
I mean, I guess they wanted the premium seating, like as close as possible to the pros. I mean, I don't know. I see this and I see like Simple in, I don't know, in the snow somewhere and fucking around.
Yeah, that's like he's doing the ice baths and shit. I didn't see that.
Like dog sledding and shit. Is like
living his best life. I respect it.
What is this kind of this? You need to be on the grind. If this is what you're doing, like everything is on the line for Krakow. Essentially, they don't have anything else to play unless they do well there. They are practically at nothing. They need to do the same thing they weren't doing last year, and that is going around playing open lands and actually beating teams.
Look at the ratings of these two. 1.04, 0.94.
Yeah, I would have been a little bit more excited if Fajil was part of this, right? But obviously he ended up going to 100 Thieves. So it's Aragorn's been kind of very up and down.
Sick job for Saw. They must have
they sold everybody.
2.5 million or something. That's what Overdrive said. 2.5 million, I think, for the call.
No,
that's what Overdrive. I'm just saying what Overdrive said.
That's what if that is
on Saw.
I don't believe any of the. I would divide everything he says by like 2 or 3.
Well, according to Overdrive, reported the buyout of the core roster of Saw. BC.Game paid 2.5 million to acquire the Portuguese trio. He shared this information on Telegram.
The one reason where I wouldn't be so skeptical of this number is knowing BC.Game's desperation at this moment, because they had just gone through attempts at buying out like 5 different cores before this, and effectively, if it wasn't going to be Saw, it wasn't going to be a team that was going to compete. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if that number was at least close to accurate, because they were definitely willing to overpay at some point, because they were after like heroic core, like kind of like a combination of people like
Game Legion core as well, right?
Game Legion's core was one of them. 3D Max was one of them. Astralis was one of them. But literally,
Max's core. That's crazy.
That was a while back. I'm not sure if they tried again, but that was like hell last year, or like halfway through the year or something. They were trying for the 3D Max core, and a bunch of these. And from what I know, most of them fell through. Not necessarily on the offer to the organization, but on the fact that the players didn't want to go, which tells you also a lot of the story, So I wouldn't be surprised if they had to overpay quite a bit for a core that had at least a Krakow invitation lined up, and the potential to keep that going for a couple more events, at least close qualifiers to events, things like that.
This was a point that Yanko was bringing up with this, because this is something that Jason was going off his tree about, that he didn't like this core buying shit. But Yanko's saying it's so expensive, right? When Falcons did it, expensive. When BC.Game are doing it, it's expensive. It's not like this is common. Right? Like 100 Thieves re-entering Counter-Strike, they have money, but not this type of money to just burn. And they've gone to build a roster and then go through the season playing events tactically to get themselves in contention for the following season. Whereas this is like buy your way in, and that's why you're bang on. They have to perform in Krakow. Otherwise, they are just burning money right in front of the BC.Game owners' face.
It's not just Krakow, right? because I think, do they end up somewhere in the range for EPL? Maybe, probably not, right?
Because I think a bunch of teams are going to be turning down EPL. Okay. Or maybe not a bunch, but definitely.
But I mean, the
some.
problem is that there's not that many spots there, because a lot of them are already filled through the
true too.
Through the Oceania stuff. So it's only like 16. So our really like top 7 teams are going to decline. It seems like a lot.
What about by something like Bucharest?
But like the qualifier, like let's say the close qualifier for Rio, whatever it is, that like they're going to get an invite for that.
I guess that's already stuff that's after the cutoff. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
For the major.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I don't know. I don't know what the point is in this team.
Maybe they promised Simple they would give him a core to be able to compete for VRS points in 2026. I'm making up stories now.
Probably.
I'm making up potentially porcupines, but I'm trying to think of rationale.
One thing I heard, which was like the craziest one so far, was that they tried to go to Spirits to buy the entire team or core, which was funny.
What?
Yeah, and I'm not joking about that. I heard that.
Gideon. Okay. Well, might need a bit more than 2.5 million for that one.
I think they shot messages to like literally everybody possible, at least.
Yes. Okay.
That's
crazy.
Again, I don't honestly, the only person that I'm kind of that gives me some hope is Muters. Because this guy has managed to pull together these pretty ass saw cores to get into playoffs of different tournaments, get the majors, not the last one, but he managed to work some kind of crazy Portuguese magic with lineups.
Crazy Aragon story that was a Jill.
Fuck me. Fuck me. That's a pun, Striker. Those are puns on the players.
Dear. Yeah,
Striker doesn't care.
That's all right.
I spaced out for a second. I don't know what happened.
Anyway, so let's say it is 2.5 million. Why? Again, I want to say, why don't you buy some actually good players? Because no one wants to join.
Because nobody wants. I mean, that's part of it, but also you don't get anywhere if you just buy players, right? You need the core.
No, you get there by actually winning games, because buying a core and losing is the same shit as not having a core.
This could be the worst $2.5 million ever spent. Oh dear. And some people have blown a lot of cash. All right. Well, we'll be able to see BC.Game in Krakow. Attacker retires and transitions to Tyler's coaching style. I feel this is just like a severance package in Asia. Hey, we don't want you on the main roster anymore, but we'll pay you to be a coach, and you could like mentor a player or something and play some local FaZe games or some shit.
D-side coach only.
ZywOo replaces AW on PARIVISION. This one I like. This one I'm very keen to see. I liked what I saw from. How are we saying his name, guys?
I say ZywOo. I don't know if that's true.
ZywOo, let's go with that. ZywOo, Nota, Belchnog all had really good moments. AW even had a couple moments too, but I think that he was clearly the weakest there. So ZywOo coming in is exciting.
Knowing how Russians pronounce the X, it's probably not that, because for them it's like a H. Hello or whatever. Hello. So it's who knows how it actually is.
Oh dear. Who knows what that's gonna be? It's Chopper's co-streaming right now the bounty games.
Yeah.
Fuck, I know.
He actually DM'd me.
I thought he was taking a break. Anyway, I digress.
Taking a break from playing. I mean, this
didn't
is
Ash also do the same? It's like, oh, I'm burnt out. streaming today.
Yeah.
Come watch some
Yeah.
demos with me.
I want to co-stream some of the games. I have to reach out to Blast. We'll see what they say. Okay, that PARIVISION one's fun. MIBR sack another coach. That's aggressive headline. Nero, bloody hell, Harry. JNT gone. Okay, didn't really know much about him. Yep. Okay, cobrazera joins the MongolZ. So this is an interesting one. He's a young man. He's 20. So he's still older than Senzu, but they didn't stick with controllers. They've brought in someone a bit fresher, which I'm going to go through and watch a couple of his demos to see, what type of a player he is overall. But yeah, this is the main surprising thing here is that Senzu didn't make his way back onto the roster. Maybe the team didn't like, they felt a bit scorned that Senzu decided to depart. Did you guys hear anything about this? I guess not. It's a bit locked away in Mongolia.
No, not really. It was just funny to see kind of the response and from some of the outlets trying to make a story out of it, because Senzu was named the 13th best player on the same day, just 2 hours before, and he named cobrazera as the top 20 as his bold prediction as well.
Funny.
And they're they a lot of outlets painted it as Senzu was named the 13th best player only to be benched 2 hours later. I'm like, bro, come on, really?
I think they're well and truly known at that point.
Oh yeah, and he fucking picked this guy for his bold prediction like he doesn't know, of course he knows. And he wasn't benched even at that point,
Pickett leaves MIBR. We know that LNZ's come in and replaced him. So that's just the only change there. Don't know what the fuck happened with this.
And Pete, who's that name?
This is an interesting one because Male 09 Liam kid is kind of decent, but also rating 1.0 for career doesn't look that great. But
shit, sorry.
He is 16, so.
Oh, fuck, I lost
good
it.
luck.
GG, boys.
Hold up, let me get back there. We
you have to load everything.
Away.
Yeah, there you go.
Shouldn't be too far away. We've gone through a bunch of this, so we can't be too far away.
Here we go. There we are. No?
Almost.
No. Not yet.
Fuck. This is what happens when you get fat fingers. We're
not that close.
Jesus
We're not that close.
Christ, we might have to start flying, boys.
Go
I'll just start reading things and we'll get some quick comments. Okay, we saw. Okay, so
goes.
this one here. Yeah, don't know. This is weird because people were talking a lot about this kid, and then he's not on the meta sport roster anymore, and they've gone slightly international, right? They've got Dragon and
Male 9
there.
is bold prediction for 8 players this year. So.
And now he's benched. So
how that kind of happens every time, and then he just appears. The person appears in some new roster.
This is in the span of 7 to 8 days that FaZe gets bought out of his 9 contract. We know that he ends up on Astralis. Kicker confirming what we just talked about. FaZe to be strong because Astralis in Europa because device is gone. Wild card. Fuck them. Don't care about that. Don't care about that.
You don't care about hitters? What the fuck?
Sorry, man. I meant more like the 500 thing. But what do you want to say about sinners?
Nothing.
What do you
Nothing. Even I don't want to talk about them.
Astralis, they get Ryu or Ryu. It depends on how you want to say it. He actually played pretty good for them yesterday, and we've seen him before in the Monty jersey. He was part of the Monty Academy as well, so we know a little bit about this kid. Stare, Yabi, Hooksy, FaZe, and Ryu. What do you guys make of Astralis now? They done like a dog's dinner? What's the situation?
Yeah.
Oh, that good, huh? No one's excited.
But why is FaZe going to 2 shit teams in a row? Why is he going into 6 shit teams in a row? I don't understand.
Well, where else is he gonna go?
He looks like I spoke to him a few times. Doesn't seem like he seems a normal guy.
Very grounded.
Doesn't seem like he's not there mentally or whatever. So I don't understand his choices. But I don't know. Maybe he really doesn't have any offers. But he's better than every team that he joins somehow. Is it just me? Every time it's I feel like he could have done better in the last 6 teams he joined. So
look, all I know is I think that these 3 are good, Stare, Yabi, and Hooksy. So we'll see what happens on top of that, if they can get anything out of these guys. And it feels like it resets the project. The pressure's kind of alleviated. It's not like, we have Device and Magisk and we need to perform anymore. It just is what it is now. So we'll see.
Also doesn't feel like Astralis at all.
No, it doesn't. We just have a lot of mid-international teams. We already had a lot of mid-international teams. Now we have a few more.
Oh, we have the EPL invites, actually.
Yeah, Astralis are, for me, this is just same shit as Fnatic right now. This is, it feels like it's a team.
Agreed.
Falcons also denied EPL, by the way.
There you go.
Looking at this.
There it is.
We can jump in it a bit later.
Oh yeah, TaZ went to BC.Game as the coach.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
For TaZ, isn't it? That's going to be fucking
Christ.
tough for TaZ. I don't know what he's getting himself into. I want to hear what TaZ's justification is, because it's going to be
Getting
like
paid, hopefully.
Yeah, fair.
I hope he's getting a fat salary for that.
Look, if you're a coach, I mean, working with Simple is a challenge. That's justification.
Is that it? Is that what you're going to say, Striker?
Look, if you want to make something of yourself, like working with Simple is probably a good motivation.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. I'm going to keep rolling.
Regalia out, story in to FlyQuest, bait,
exploring new orbs. Yep.
Did they sign someone in the end?
Not yet. No,
not yet.
They said they would say something in the next couple of weeks, so we're coming up on that.
Maybe FaZe has another one in him.
This whole big thing is somewhat interesting more because, like, why is blameF gone to big? Guess he wasn't being paid that well on Fnatic.
And why is he now small?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he's cutting. I don't know. Yeah, story to FlyQuest. Poi and Sierra with Agil. So we know Agil a bit. He's the one that we've probably seen the most of. But I'm more excited about Poi and Sierra to see what they have to offer, because these are going to be the kids that they're going to need to get the firepower from. We know Agil's not going to be playing the star roles.
But Agil, I will say he is kind of an overqualified anchor in terms of his numbers. Like, his output is good for the roles that he's playing. So I think they did go for like the right player if you want to have, if you want to work with somebody who's not necessarily as proven but has some promise. I think Agil also belongs in that conversation for sure.
Yeah, for me, but the reason I'm more excited about the Poi and the Sierra is because they're going to be playing the more exciting positions on the maps and the ones where the output is going to be required, and they're both very young, 19 apiece. So that see what the future of maybe Danish and Swedish Counter-Strike can look like. So they got the solid experience backbone, reigning game leading for the first time, Glaive in his first coaching role, Device there on the AWP to just be a stable AWP, right? He doesn't need to be an elite level crazy change in the game AWP for what they need to build into. And then Sierra and Poi alongside of Agil are going to get a whole bunch of tournaments where they can farm, whether it's online or smaller LAN events, depending on what Graham can navigate them to. So that's exciting.
I mean, the part that I'm excited about, and I mean, I could not glaze messioso enough, to be honest, is like, this is the one team where management really matters, because messioso is going to make damn sure that these guys are going to be the best setup possible to play at all the right stuff, like make all the right choices in terms of what to attend, when to try to peak, all these things. He's already been talking about it on Twitter about like what the approach is going to be. They're literally like not going to play anything in this upcoming month, just to make sure when they do start playing, they can actually back up the roster they have with some results, right? So like to set themselves up for, or especially against, not having the bad start that will, create this backlog of bad games, and that you have to work almost twice as hard to overcome down the line. VRS is really good for people who just hit the ground running and like get the wins from the beginning. You just skyrocket so fast if you don't have a bunch of losses.
They made the right choices,
loads of games,
the right events. Yeah.
If you don't have loads of games, it's really much easier for you to shoot up the rankings. So like that's what I'm excited about with 100 Thieves, that they actually do know what the fuck they're doing and they're set up for success as much as possible. Of course, I mean, this lineup still has to work, and like that's where they're gonna have to do all the talking. But they're not gonna set themselves up for failure by attending everything they possibly can, and just creating like watering down the ranking effectively.
The Huns, obviously, controllers has gone there. We know Score from the past, 9 from his Deagle. We know Bartak from being the brother of Mazzina. So hopefully these guys can get their act together, because it'd be nice to have more good teams coming out of Asia. Jesus.
Keep going.
Yeah, this is weird. So Heroic signed Sus to replace Youngster, but then this Alcarin situations happen, so Youngster's playing anyway, and they said visa issue. Stown is ready to return, but obviously doesn't have a team. He's not playing with Astralis, so he's another one of these players who's in the wind.
What do we think about
Stown and Senzu together on a team?
Stown, Senzu. There's one more guy, Jota. There's a whole bunch of players. Yeah, that we can get out there. Yeah.
Do we think, just to touch on Susp?
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like this is such a lateral thing. I just don't understand what's
like
the
a 1-for-1 for you.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like Youngstar was just like this kind of X Factor type player, that wouldn't have like the best average level necessarily, but he would just peak in a bunch of games that would just push them through, and it felt like he was in the right spots. really. So I'm just kind of surprised they got Susp, who, he's okay again. Like he's going to deliver kind of more or less the same level on average, but just like why make the change? I'm curious.
I thought we were leaving this in last year.
Yeah,
this is the type of moves I don't want to be seeing. It just feels like money for nothing.
Yeah,
chicks for free or whatever.
Yeah. I don't have much thoughts on it, to be honest with you. TaZoo, they added this Zero guy who has pretty good stats from what I was looking at. So we'll see if he's the next gen of Chinese Counter-Strike, 20 years of age. They definitely needed an upgrade on attacker. He botted out in some important moments for TaZoo. Generally, I like TaZoo. I think that the replacement I would do is Zaka for G, if that's possible. Right? That's the one thing that I think would be sick, because I think Mazaya, Mercury, Jamyang all have some really good moments to offer. Art benched on Fluxo.
Oh, I actually missed this one.
Yep. So there's another chance.
An exit to join. Okay.
So yeah, I guess, but it's just tough when the positions exit players for him to be a leader. That's what I always feel anyway. So unless there's maybe a change in the way he approaches the game. Madden joins Fnatic. This is where it gets weird, right? Did you guys hear anything on why blameF went to big? Like why he wanted to leave Fnatic?
I heard for a while that either Fnatic weren't happy with blameF or the other way. Maybe it was kind of a mutual thing. So it didn't necessarily come as a surprise that he left. I just wasn't sure necessarily what the exact reason was.
blameF's 28.
I think blameF is a bit like what do you call it? I think a lot of teams at the top don't really rate him because of his reputation.
He's in the same category as a Degster.
Yeah, to some degree, yes, for sure. Where I think his reputation as like this massive baiter obviously is kind of precedes him. And I think he's kind of blacklisted. It was the word that I was looking for from a lot of the top teams. So I think his offers aren't great. So as long as he can get one where he can at least realistically compete, that's where he's going to go. And if with Fnatic wasn't happy both ways, then that makes sense. It's big,
bro. We haven't said anything reasonable about big in years.
Yeah. I mean, this is the most reasonable thing they've done in a while, to be honest. I mean, at least they're going somewhere.
Yeah, fair.
Horrible.
Process in, process out. Andy takes over as the in-game leader.
Yeah.
Oh, again?
That's the part I'm not. That's the part I'm not super sold on.
That's not a good move. Anyway, we'll see how poorly that. So VSM and Piaria Jr. This kid Piaria has like pretty good stats. I know it's not being reflected here, but he has some pretty good stats. So we'll see if
whoever the fuck thought VSM was going to be a relevant name in 2026.
But he also kind of had.
He's been doing well, like
glow up
in Brazil. Yeah.
More news you don't care about. Inner Circle, don't care about that. Don't care about that. Nah. We knew this was happening. This is like rumored for ages to replace UJX.
Long time. I think it was like a good half a year that they had this lined up, like really long time.
Yep. And Problem takes over as the Virtus Pro interim coach. So Problem keep finding Virtus Pro. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now. That's a lot of that we've got.
Jesus Christ, Chad, you fucking killed me here.
Sorry, man. But it was good, right? We got lots to catch up on.
Yeah, good.
Lucas, are you there? Lucas, bring up the what are the odds. Let's jump there.
Oh, no.
Come on, man. I know you are ready.
Oh, no.
Let's do the what are the odds. Let's get into it right now. I want to do the what are the odds because we're almost at the 2-hour mark and Profs needs to go on a vacation soon, guys. So we need to kind of speed this up.
I actually didn't plan anything. I'll probably just be at home playing video games.
That's a good vacation. That's a nice little mental reset.
My nephew's christening this weekend.
Okay, they're always important. You never want to miss one of those.
I mean, if I don't show up, bro, the little dude he'll never.
He can't get into heaven. I heard
he'll never forgive me, bro. It's like 1 centimeter big right now.
It's the same thing I have with my my niece and my nephew. It's like everyone's like, oh, my partner's like, oh, you're gonna get him Christmas presents. I'm like, what the fuck for? I'm just gonna put money in a bank account. So by the time
that's literally the conversation. That's literally the conversation we were having today. What the fuck do you get a baby that's not even 1 year old? What's the point?
You give them money, man. Just give them fucking money. They'll love it. They don't know about it, but they'll love it. Okay, Lucas, you ready with what are the odds? Oh, shit, it's already up. Okay, this is presented by Stake. This is what are the odds. So I've got 3 of these to start the season. I want to do something a little bit more juicy. We've got short term, we've got mid-term, and we've got long-term. We're going to start with the short term here. So short term is, what are the odds Vitality don't win Blast Bounty? Lucas is going to put up a poll. You guys at home get to have your say in Kick Chat right now. Striker, we're going to start with you because you look so uneasy about this. Striker, what percentage do you put on Vitality not winning Blast Bounty?
not winning Blast Bounty.
Vitality don't win Blast Bounty.
So their chance of winning, like realistically, probably somewhere in the 20% ish, like odds wise. But it is a Blast Bounty like early into the year. We saw how that went last year when they got this fucking amazing lineup. They didn't even make it to the final. I'm gonna give them a 90%
To not win.
to not win.
Okay, just so everyone understands, it
okay.
is to not win. Vitality don't win Blast Bounty. So not Vitality win Blast Bounty. Vitality don't win.
That's crazy high.
I don't know why. I mean, realistically, their chances of winning all the events last year were like 20 to 25%. So it's
I
not
guess
like,
1 in 4, so 25%. But I that's kind of where I
so
feel
this
like
is more like this is not a tournament they necessarily care about. Really.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put 80%. I'll put 80%.
Okay, so a couple of factors here. MongolZ is not at this tournament, right? Who is the other top team that's not at this tournament?
G2.
Okay, so yeah, but I guess MongolZ is the scary one. So there are four teams at this. There are 3 teams at this event who, in my opinion, have a realistic chance of beating Vitality on any given Sunday in a traditional sense. Obviously, if I go to the moment of now, that's where we start to shift because it's a warm-up event, online Counter-Strike. Then we go to LAN, it's studio, it's warming into the year, and they didn't win last year. Those teams with who see Vitality and know that they can beat them are Furia, Falcons, and Spirit. Those are the teams. Yeah. Otherwise, MongolZ would have been included in that conversation as well. So those are the 4 teams who, in my opinion, have the best chances of winning Blast Bounty to start the season. So with that in mind, I have that reduced. Now, obviously, there's those X factors that come in and those like tricky moments, those landmines of online games that could blow anybody up like they did FaZe, who have already been eliminated. They lost their opening game and they're out. So they went from major grand final to start the season to a loss of an online match. That's not great. So here's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with 60% because I back Vitality, right? I back them. I like the way that they run their ship. I think they, without a doubt, the best team. I think that Furia, Falcons, and Spirit are not far off the mark, but I think that Vitality learnt from the way that things went from the mid-break into the second half of 2025. I think they're going to manage this because this is only the second time they've had a break as a team. Right? Yeah. It's only the second time. So I think they're going to manage that break a whole lot better than they did the last one, and they're going to come out swinging. Right? They're going to come out swinging. Anubis is back in. That doesn't really affect them much within the map pool, right? If anything, it helps them a bit because Train is a map they had to put a lot of work into the major because it was dropping down. So I think the map pool kind of like drops down a little bit in terms of it doesn't feel as broad for everybody at the moment because of this Anubis situation until we see it settle in a little bit more mid-season after the first few events. That's my opinion. And the people that said 70. So I have the most faith.
Very nice numbers.
Yeah, high numbers. We like high numbers. Okay, Lucas, do the magic. Put them together and give us the number. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, I think 4 is like that's probably what you would find on betting sites or whatever. I don't know. I feel like the thing, even what you're saying, even if they come into this season with more knowledge of like how to balance up an off season, I still think this tournament is really not important. Like the result of this tournament is not important to them.
I'm not saying that it's important to them. I'm just saying they're going to win.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, they might win anyway because they're fucking Vitality, of course. It's not like just because you don't give a fuck, you can't win. We've seen that happen many times before. So,
you know, this is another thing when you were doing your conversation earlier, Striker, about like the stats and the top 1 player and stuff. That's another thing that's important too.
Which
like
is
I always
winning every tournament.
I always talk about this, that like not every tournament means the same to every team. Yep. So some tournaments, like if it's a Katowice, a Cologne, or a major, then yeah. And then others, if it's like winning the Grand Slam, like the Vitality guys ranked Melbourne as their 3rd most important event of the year. I was listening to that
conversation. That was really cool to listen through their reasoning about that.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Why? Because of like a Grand Slam, or
yeah, that was part of it. But it's also
and
just
also
the way that they want it. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the midterm. What are the odds, Lucas? Whack that one up on screen. Let's keep midterm flying.
We also have the little time capsule at the end.
We do. I'll stay away from doing the whole timeline that I made. We'll save that.
There we go.
But we'll do the time capsule.
Yeah, we'll do the time capsule for sure. I'm very excited for that.
So the time capsule, we're going to do a little bit differently this time.
Okay.
But we'll work it out as we go together. Okay. Yeah. Next one when you're ready, Lucas. Okay. So here it is again. This is going to be the second. What are the odds? Brought to you by Stake. A current top 10 team makes a roster change before the major cutoff date.
99%.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So let me just read the top 10 teams. So what we're going to do is we're going to go HLTV top 10 and VRS top 10. So the list will be slightly broader than top 10. So these teams on the HLTV as of right now: Vitality, Furia, Falcons, MongolZ, FaZe, MongolZ, Na'Vi, Spirit, G2, Aurora. And by the VRS rankings, it is Vitality, Furia, Falcons, Na'Vi, Spirit, MongolZ, FaZe, the MongolZ, Aurora, Bait. Now we know Bait are already looking to make a change. So they're not included.
Oh, Bait instead of G2. Okay.
They're not included in this prediction because we already know that they're looking to make a change.
Right.
So were you being serious there, Prof?
Pretty much. Like maybe I would put 95 because a few of them already did changes, which is making it less likely. But it doesn't mean because they like Aurora did a change doesn't mean they'll not make another one.
Jojo's back.
Yeah.
Falcons, I don't think. Vitality, I don't think. Falcons could, MongolZ could, FaZe could, Na'Vi could, G2 I don't think.
Even should.
No, I mean Spirit I don't think, G2 I think could for sure, Aurora could, or yeah, maybe Bait makes a second one as well. So I think all of these teams will not be having the season they want, and someone will have to make a change.
Can I ask this question then? Because you're sitting here and you're saying that these teams could or should, but who would they get, right? Like, is there anybody available right now that would feel like, yeah, I know you don't want the lateral moves, but in some cases it might have to be a lateral move because even what's an upgrade available right now?
Yeah, I mean, you could counter it. Obviously, you can put 99%, 95% for me, Lucas. You can counter it by saying like, well, the offseason just happened and no one did, and these teams didn't do anything. So why would they do it now? I think because they'll see that the results are going even more in the direction that they don't want. So they'll be forced to do something.
Yeah. I mean, look at MongolZ last year, right? I mean, they waited all the way to the end of Bonty to pull the trigger, you know? So
that's true.
One online match made them decide like, fuck it. This is not working. I don't think that something that crazy is going to happen this time, to be honest. But knowing, like, look, a lot of people were just like giving me shit for a fact. Like we did this article about like that we were promised the big Rostermania, and people were saying that as if we were promised it by me saying that Alexei was sounding a little bit too sad in his exit interview. I was like, seriously, that's the only thing you think we based this on? It's like, I can go through the top 10 list, and like that's the reason why I said at the beginning of the offseason that like 6 out of the top 10 teams would make changes, was because heard Falcons were going to make a change, heard MongolZ were going to make a change. We weren't sure about FaZe, but we heard Na'Vi were going to make a change, or at least heavily looking. G2 were also looking into kind of like an aggressive rifler options and things like that. Everybody was looking. Aurora obviously did make changes. Spirit obviously did make changes. MongolZ we knew would make changes. You know, so like 8 out of the top 10 were in the conversation for changes. Just nothing transpired effectively. MongolZ still apparently have this buyback option for PR. So if things keep going in a way that they don't want, they could pull the trigger on it before that cutoff. FaZe, you know, if it seems like that major was really just a flash in the pan, easily could see them. Na'Vi, same thing. You know, maybe they realize the major was just a flash in the pan, wasn't really necessarily indicative of them being better. Easily could. G2, I don't know about that, because I think maybe they were also kind of sold down the river, not sold down the river, but sold the wrong idea by winning London, and then they just kept going to the end of the year, and then they didn't find anybody they wanted. So it just seemed like maybe they didn't have the money to get a new guy, somebody who would be interesting. But still, that's a lot of teams that I think are on the verge of deciding to make changes again. That I would also go high.
Do you reckon anyone would get Senzu?
I heard that some teams asked about him, and I think that's what I was talking about when I was talking about the reputation is not doing him any favors right now, that nobody knows what happened, that everybody's very careful about Senzu at the moment, and not being sure whether it could be something to do with the betting thing. You know, there could be a lot of risk associated that we just don't know about, right? And I think that some of the teams are thinking along the same lines, and I heard enough indication that some people asked about what happened with Senzu and maybe they didn't get the answer that they were looking for.
Or they did,
and so they
didn't like
or
the
they
answer.
did and they didn't like the answer. Indeed. So I would love to see him go somewhere, but we don't know what happened.
Okay.
So what's the number?
I'll go like 80%. I think it's still very high. I wouldn't go as far as Prof, because I think as Chat said, there's a reason why they didn't this time. And I also struggled to see like obvious upgrades. Like one for Navi would have been like
This is
the two big
before
ones.
the major cutoff date, by the way.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
still make changes after.
That's like
Yeah,
April
6th.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. And they could still make it like so that they can play at the major with somebody else, right? That's also possible. But like, so the two big ones that I see as the biggest possibilities would be MongolZ and Navi. And the reason I say that is MongolZ because of this buyback thing with PR, where they could just pull the trigger on that anytime they want, assuming it's still valid. And Navi with Demon, which I think is a similar situation.
Okay.
Which I think is a similar situation.
Yeah, okay.
That I would imagine because they sold the Navi Junior core to Foot, maybe they have some buyback deal there in there as well to make it a little bit easier for them to upgrade their roster, or upgrade, just look for somebody young to try to mold again, So I think that was an idea during the offseason for Navi, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were kind of keeping an eye on what's happening with this lineup to see whether they should do that in the end, So I think there's a really good chance for these two teams.
It's interesting, right? Because I think that like Navi had an uptick at the major. I think everybody would probably agree on that.
Yeah.
But if they were looking at making changes, is there like a resentment with who they were looking to replace in the rest of the team? And the same to be said with MongolZ. So if those factors exist, they're the ones more to the tippy top of my list, right? I think that Aurora is one that I look at where maybe they just bring jottAAA back, because I don't think jottAA's going to get too many offers in the interim, right? And I don't think soulfly is going to cut the mustard, to be completely honest with you. I said I was going to reserve judgment. I didn't. Wait. Sorry, everybody. So
I mean, you're going to judge him, but this is just your feeling,
Yeah, it's like Fury is not making a change. Vitality's not making a change. If Falcons didn't do it now, they're not making a change. FaZe are going to be committed to this until, like, I feel like this is a situation where by making the major final, they've given themselves enough leash to have another season with this roster before like Eddie and Co come in and make some heavy-handed changes with potentially leadership or AWPing. MongolZ are going to give cobrazera the season. They're going to give him the runway, right? Unless he just absolutely shits the bed. But even then, we saw like when Mazinho first joined, he had some tough games in like. So I'm going to go quite low, just to be a contrarian because it's fun. I'm going to go with 50%.
All right.
Okay.
Just why not? Right? If I'm wrong, who cares?
It will be interesting to follow.
Okay, and finally, we got one more, boys. We got one more. The $1.25 for yes and $4.76 for no. We got one more. What are the odds? Brought to you by Stake. And this one's going to leave a mark.
While we wait for him to fix this, you can do the shout out. Or I can.
The shout out? Oh, yeah.
Take promotion.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's got it up on screen. You want to do the shout out now?
All good.
Okay.
Fast.
This is the long term. What are the odds? 2025 is NiKo's last year in the top 20. Boom.
The big one.
That's a huge one.
Huge one.
Yeah, he was 18 this year, everybody. He's 28 now. He's going to be 29 this year.
Yeah, I mean that is already one of the oldest. So 28 was Neo.
Zentaris
Forest
made it this year, though, right? 2025.
Neo and Forest made it to 28, I think the last, and then Zentaris made it 29, 30.
There's also a device. There's Katie, and now fairly recently, there's Hunter, who was also at 28. I'm pretty sure. There's a few more now compared.
But
to
generally, 28 is kind of the line.
Yeah.
So,
but guys,
yeah.
When did we have the comment where it was like the year is 2055?
Yeah,
NiKo is playing.
That was on Sunday. Yeah.
Like, he could be top 20 in 2055.
That's true. I think it was 2057, Lucas. But it's all right to get your years mixed up. Like
last year is a long time. There's no end date.
2025 is NiKo's last year in the top 20. How long? So this is not just for 2026. This is 2027,
okay,
2028.
I was going to say.
Let's reframe it. Let's reframe it. Let's say 2025 is NiKo's last year in the top 20 to continue his streak, because he's been in the top 20 every year.
Essentially, the question is, what are the odds.
He doesn't make the top 20 this year.
2026. Okay. Yeah. Can you redo it, Lucas? Just for
I can
people.
type something too if you want, Lucas.
Okay. For the screenshot. I think
what are the odds NiKo doesn't make the top 20 in 2026? There you go.
I'll give it 35%.
Okay.
35%?
Yeah.
Okay. So you think
I think he will make it.
high.
I think he'll make it again for a
That's
few
not
reasons.
me, that's Prof.
For a few reasons. I think he'll make it back first. He's still on a really good team, which is helpful for the top 20. It is. It's not a thing that puts you on the top 20, but he will be at all the top tier tournaments. That is kind of important for him to have a chance to prove that he's there. I think overall, it was his worst year in forever, practically in forever, as he's been a pro player. But it's also been a pretty turbulent year with a lot of changes in the team and changes for him individually, his positioning and what he needs to do. So I believe he has one more in him for sure.
Are those factors though that you just highlighted going to really exclude him from the conversation because of the position changes? He's not going to be in as many playmaking spots unless they've made more changes in the break again to these positions. So if he's not in positions where he can have as much influence on the game, at least within early rounds or like openers to rounds, like you only see the very best teams. Mez is the example from this year that's just gone by. Or Rops, but Rops is quite active in a lot of the spots that he plays, who are able to have those elite level performances, and NiKo's not traditionally been that player profile. I'm just talking right now. Like I don't actually, I'm just like saying there's a lot of things against him, and he did come 18th, and he was behind Torji, striker.
Thank you for reminding everybody.
controversial placements right there. But what I want to say, I'll double down and I'll say that he'll be ranked higher next year.
Okay, there's some faith.
I mean, that's
there.
not that crazy. Not that crazy thing to say. Like it's just two possible spots.
Yeah, but I think he'll do better. That's overall my feeling, and I don't think his bad performances and ratings are because of the positions. I just think he had bad tournaments.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's more what I saw from NiKo in general this year was that his floor was still really high, really solid for most of it. Obviously, he had some off tournaments and stuff, but it wasn't more the inconsistency that he had really big peaks, but also kind of bad lows coming at bad times, just not quite stepping up at the right moments and all these things. His overall output was still really good, and that's why people obviously thought he would be a lot higher. So I don't necessarily think that he has dropped off skill-wise. Some of the role stuff has definitely hindered him to some degree with that consistency for sure. We saw it like in Cologne, obviously, like his first tournament out was a bit of a struggle when he made the switch. But after that, he had a couple of tournaments where he showed that even through those positions and even having to give up some of that space, he could still peak quite high. So I do think that it was more of a thing where he just didn't find the right tournaments to peak at the right moments. Perhaps it was the pressure. Perhaps it had something to do with that, or like some of these finals that he didn't really show up in. All these things. I still think he is a top 20 player, and I don't see necessarily a reason that because he had kind of an off year this year, he will just taper off completely.
Now,
so
what percentage you giving him?
I would say 25.
Oh, okay.
Even more faith.
I'm gonna go with Twitch chat. I only go with 50%. He either does or he doesn't.
Bitch ass fucking move. I can't believe
that's it, right? I get to define it all. It's nice. Okay, so that's 3. What are the odds? Brought to you by Stake. A short term, a mid term, and a long term, and we'll see how these are trending throughout the year. Okay, we're gonna. Oh yeah, Prof. The thing.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, I've lost it in the source.
Okay, no problem.
I got that many tabs open right now.
No problem. Stake promotion, as always. Weekly reload from Stake and HLTV Confirmed. You can claim it via support using code HLTV.org, and you will get $35 across 7 days after a minimum deposit of $20. This is for new users, and you can join by going in the Kick description or the panels below the Kick stream and clicking there, and you'll find everything you need.
Perfect. Okay.
Shout out one time.
Thank you to Steak. Okay, I wanted to do I made a timeline. And I had some events with prize money and everything like that, and how many events each TO is running, and this, that, and the other. We'll save that until next episode. I also used it when we spoke with Vitality, but essentially it's like what we did the last 2 seasons, where we showed everybody the flow of events. It's a great way to be able to frame what events are important, what ones are just before the cutoff, but that can wait, right? Because next week there's a 3-day break between bounty groups and bounty playoffs, so we can work something out there. Let's get into this time capsule. Now, I said we're going to do something a little bit different with it this time round. Now, what I mean by that is we need to define together what we actually want to frame. So what we did last time was... Fuck, I closed it. It was like major MVP, major winner, team to make roster changes, team of the season, and there was something else in there, right? Like one of those. But I wondered if we wanted to tweak some things a little bit, and we could just group ours together all on one page. They don't need to be on separate pages. So I can share this. Let me just... I
think we had team to not make the major.
Yeah,
that was one of the questions.
But that's not as pertinent anymore in 2025 and 2026 because of the VRS.
Everyone makes the major.
So here we go. I'm sharing my screen.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
So here it is. Here are 3.
What, the striker looks like a Banks.
Well, here are 3 men going out on a journey. Lucas will show in a second, everybody. He'll share the screen in a moment. 3 men going out on a journey of some futuristic time capsule.
I look like a combination of me and Yanko.
I love this.
I used the picture of the 3 of us on the red carpet, so it's made me
its face. I love it.
Yeah. And so we're out adventuring. See,
I see this movie. You're obviously the main character. You're this guy like leading the expedition. Striker is like the security detail guy. He's like, oh no, we shouldn't be doing that. And I'm some like idiot that makes the worst decisions. Like, oh no, we have to save this cute little alien baby, and then everyone dies because of it. This is the vibe that I was getting.
So yeah, this is us. We're out on an expedition together to find the time capsule or create something. So
you're like glorified Star-Lord. I don't know.
So here is where we've located the time capsule, but we need to fill the time capsule, guys. So we found it, but we need to leave some things here. So I'm gonna have to minimize this. Sorry, everybody, getting flashbang. So I can F11 it, and that'll work. So we need to fill this out, right? So I was thinking of like different framing. Like, do we think like a certain amount of teams are going to skip this event, or do we think there'll be another major visa drama for the major, or things along those lines, or just we want to stick with the tried and tested? There's no reason we can't.
I think we should do tried and tested and add like one random prediction for each of us.
Okay. So I'm gonna do this here. We're gonna go text color white so everyone can see it. We'll bold it, and we'll go with doesn't. No, wait, we're not doing doesn't make the major.
Yeah, we can skip that one.
Team of the season. And we'll just fill it out like on one page with the 3 of us here, okay?
All good.
Team of the season, Prof. Who's your team of the season?
Bro, this is...
I'll give you Spirit.
No, you can take Spirit.
None of you guys are thinking of Vitality?
I'll take Vitality, no problem.
The striker wants Spirit. Prof wants Vitality.
I don't know if this was like a mind game attempt or something, but
we didn't have to go different teams. We could have all gone the same team.
Yeah,
I'm also going Vitality.
Okay.
I think this is
I just didn't want to go with Vitality because it's just a boring answer. It's just a bit boring.
Yeah, but you know,
you're right. Are we going
to be boring or are we going to be right?
I'd rather
MVP striker. Who you got here?
No, I mean you're going to be boring and right.
Well, yeah, that's the best.
I mean, MVP is. I mean that there. I'm going to be boring. Just slap. You know what? No, fuck it. I'll just slap donk. I'm just going to stop with the. Oh, okay.
I would appreciate if you could keep our names consistent in the order.
Okay. All right.
I really don't. I would really appreciate this.
I've gone with Rops here as the major MVP.
All right.
Modesty.
That's what I wanted to say, kind of like just as a shout, to be honest. But
okay. All right. What other categories do we had? Team to make roster changes.
What if we do like best roster change?
Best roster
Okay,
change.
best roster change. Who's gonna make it, or
No.
who's gonna prove to have
Which
made
one will it be? Which roster change will have the best positive
So as of
impact?
right
But
now,
already the one that we've had.
Or you can predict one, or you can
Okay.
predict one.
I mean, that for me that would just be Spirit. So I don't know.
so plus
uh,
zont1x plus magixx, right?
yeah, yeah. You can put that on
Wait,
striker.
sorry.
Me.
Okay, Prof, who you got?
Cobrazera for control.
Okay. Interesting. There haven't been that many good changes, so it's like we're very limited here. I'm going with plus
Vikings
way. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
yeah.
That's what I thought
Like,
you were gonna do.
because I think PARIVISION still have an opportunity to punch a bit higher than where they are right
Yeah,
now. So
You wanna
they have
sorry,
realistic room to grow.
Worst roster change?
Or,
Okay.
well, what was the other ones that we had before? Let me just check. I had
We had
Let me say, like-
major winner. We didn't do major winner.
oh
That's
yeah,
kind of connected to the major MVP.
I think we
but
can just keep it with the major MVP. I mean, it was kind of
Yeah.
fun, but
okay.
just so
the
we
other
don't
one
have,
we
like,
had
so much-
before was because I only have the access to the 2024 one we did. So don't make the major, Shanghai major MVP, Shanghai major winner, team of the season, team to make roster change.
Okay.
Team to make roster
Team
change.
to make roster change is good this season for sure.
Yeah.
It's something we already talked about somewhat, but
Who we got?
okay.
Um,
I'm just trying to pick between the two that I said are the most likely. I'll go with Navi.
Navi. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go outside of top 10 and say Liquid.
Ooh. Okay, yeah. I'll be honest. I completely forgot about Liquid. I think even Liquid forgot about Liquid.
Navi, by the way, is not capitalized like that anymore. They don't like it, just so you know.
Sorry, guys. You're named after the fucking people from the Avatar
it.
movie.
I
Sorry
was
about
gonna
that.
say, like, now that the new Avatar movies came out, not even then.
The fact that
Unfortunate.
their Natos Vincere comes from the HLTV forums needs to be repeated.
It does, and not a lot of people know that.
People don't know that. People don't know that fact.
And people also don't know that it does actually have something to do, like the idea behind the shortening does actually have to do with Avatar too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't know that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's
yeah.
when the first Avatar movie came out, 2010.
Yeah, people. Yeah, well, that's it. Not everyone's as old as us.
Well, we need to make sure that we keep history.
I go with Aurora. I think Joda needs
Okay.
to come back. Bring him back. Get him back on Anubis. Get him back out there. Get
You're
him
not
back
on
in
the major
there.
train.
The major train. Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but who's going to in-game lead then?
I don't know. Explode.
That's a fucking problem in itself.
Maybe like breakout of the season.
Okay, that's a good one.
Okay.
Team or
Team or player, either.
Could be both. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Ooh.
Text white.
All right, breakouts of the season. I mean, for you, it might be cobrazera.
Yeah, I don't want to
It's hard when we
double
didn't
down. I
have
don't want
that
to
many
double
new
down on
ones coming in.
Cobra. I'm not doubling down on Cobrazera. Bro's trying to drown me here
Okay.
actively.
I guess it's hard, right? Could anybody from like PARIVISION besides Way be considered breakout of the season? Like because
Not
we
just team,
saw,
it could just be player.
yeah, no, but like Xelo,
You could also pick the whole team.
sure, but like this guy like from PARIVISION had a great major. Would we count that as like breakout of the season?
I
Like,
think
or
we
does
can
it
just
not
like
count?
reflect on it and just like kind of give it to you if it makes sense. You know, I don't know if we need to necessarily set it so.
If they come
strictly.
to like a higher level, if he's like competing in the top 10 or whatever teams,
I
Because
think it will be somewhat obvious who won by the end.
this is the thing. It's hard. Like when you're scrolling down the list of players, like you could pick Ken from NIP. He could be one, right?
It's a pretty good one, yeah.
I'm gonna pick Demon.
Fuck. Okay.
Okay.
That's why I
I
wanted
gave
to
you a
pick.
lot of time to pick him. You
Yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
so fuck it.
I was just scrolling through a bit more because I was like, that's a good idea. Okay.
I liked what I saw from him at I want to see EWC, TWC, CAC.
CAC was the one, yeah.
He was pretty good there with foot and with the possibility either in foot or if the Navi rumors come true and he goes there, I think both are good options.
Okay. I don't know, like, because you feel like you have to go down the list a little bit to kind of pick someone a little bit.
What
more
about
exotic.
Mail 09?
He's on the bench. It's hard to fucking pick him in there. Like, I wanted to go for Poi, but
or do we already can expect him to be?
He can still break. Like, if he would be the main
guy, if he becomes like proper frag,
he becomes
we can give you Jacob if you want him.
I know. Just like I was just like still thinking, but you can put him there for now.
Well, you
can put him there for now.
You don't have to have
I don't
him.
think.
I don't want to force him on you.
No, I just don't. Like, I do have PARIVISION as like the biggest like idea for sure as a team overall, but I think you already covered it as well.
I was trying to think, like, what other things happened that like potentially time capsule worthy? Like, was there anything that is like we could drama we could predict?
There's a good one from BCP_TM. It says disaster of the season, team, player, or event.
BC.Game.
Fuck you, pre-firing it.
I was gonna say, because I was just thinking about who's like another like team to make roster change, obviously, but you know that would have been BC.Game, like first one in my mind. To be honest. I didn't. I can
change it if you want. You want me to change it?
I don't know. Like if we're gonna do disaster of the season, I'm gonna go with this. I don't need to double up on that.
BC.Game, not BG.Game.
Oh fucking hell.
BG.
BC.Game. There we go.
Ouija.
Disaster of the season. Disaster of the season.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Any event?
This one's easy. That one's super easy. Big.
Oh.
Okay.
Fuck. ESL 1 Cologne.
I don't know why I had the same idea, but just as a fun thing.
I don't know. I need to think. Maybe if we can think of one last.
Yeah, one last category. Like, I did have a whole bunch of stuff written. Let's see if I can access it here. Google Documents. Because there was like, here's one. Retirement of the season.
Who's gonna retire?
So we have to just be with this. Like, this retirement of the season would have to be would have to go up until the end of the tournament break in the middle of the year. It'd have to go
until the middle of the year.
Would have to, yeah. Well, it'd have to go up until
that's kind of when we do it usually. I don't know. Maybe.
These have to be these don't have to be crazy, but you know.
Okay, I'll pick Fnatic for my disaster of the season. I don't know what else. Like, this direction is. I love Modern, but like Modern for blameF. The rest of this, I don't know. Just doesn't seem inspiring.
Okay, I've gone with retirement of the season, Carrigan.
That was my first thoughts. Yeah.
Someone can still take Fallen.
That one has been on the cards forever.
That would be the easiest to predict, to be honest. It feels like.
People are saying simple.
Bro, they could also make a roster. Bro, Furia could also make a roster change before the major.
Well,
Fallen could retire.
Yeah, if it's Fallen, yeah. Did you see we had him on the couch? He said the same thing.
Crims is a good one.
Did you see like his last interview or whatever it was?
Oh yeah, he wants to keep going. Yeah,
that he just made it very clear that he still wants to play.
That's true.
I wouldn't say that.
Device is in a pretty good team now, so I don't think that just started.
I have an idea. I really don't want to say it because I like him.
Well, I like Carrigan too. I don't want him to retire.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't worry.
I was gonna say.
Don't worry, the fans. Just to add a text here. We are fans of these players and we love them, and we don't want them to retire. Respectfully.
Respectfully.
Oh fuck!
Oh my god!
You're doing a good job.
I was gonna say Snappy.
Ooh.
Just that this NIP thing is just not gonna transpire. He's gonna get kicked. And, I don't know. That's like the one outside of the obvious ones that I was thinking about. Just put him there.
I need to look
I'm
into.
sorry, Snappy. It's not like I want to do this, but
I need to look into benched players. How can I? Okay, top.
Magisk?
Magisk, no.
Yeah, I can see. I can see. I know. It's. I could go slideshow mode again, but I'm not going to be able to. I'll say coldZera. Cadian? Ooh.
No way. Not this fast. Not this fast.
Talent who won't be at the major, but should. Yanko?
I
Too easy.
one.
Too easy.
Come
I mean, now he's gonna have one at least. Probably,
MBK?
Probably both, to be honest, because it's ESL and PGL. He
He didn't
basically
do the
does all
last
those.
PGL major.
He didn't.
He's been out of
No,
the
but
PGL stuff
he's
for
been
a
at
while,
PGL
but
stuff
now
since then.
He's
so
back
I
in
think,
it yeah, now.
I
yeah.
think he'll get the offer.
Deco retired.
He's already done.
Oh my god.
It's just struggle. Just put Fallen, man.
If I could help with Fallen. Fallen is definitely a good shout. I wanted to go outside of the expectations, but I think he is out of these three, I think he is the first.
Okay. Well, there we go. How's that looking?
Yeah,
That's a lot of
fantastic.
text on some graphics, but these three fine gentlemen, they waded through the muck. There was some
I like how
futuristic
it kept
planet.
the fucking HLTV logo. That's the funniest part to me.
What is it?
It kept the watermark.
Yeah.
That's
Respect.
nice.
Watermark is more AI being more respectful than CS2 news. Thank you.
I think that just shows like how prominent this watermark is. That it's like AI realized this
They
is like, yeah,
respect
this
it.
needs to be here because they just learned on the data set.
Okay, to recap, team of the season, Prof, Vitality, Striker, Spirit, Sponge, Vitality, Major MVP, Prof, Monacy, which I guess you think Falcons are going to win, Striker, Donkest, that means Spirit's going to win, and I went with Rops, which means I think Vitality going to win. Best roster change, Prof plus cobrazera. I spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
Yep. There we go. cobrazera. Striker plus zont1x plus magixx. Sponge plus ZywOo. So that's for PARIVISION, Spirit, and the MongolZ. Team to make roster change. Prof had Liquid. Striker had Navi. I had Aurora. Breakout of the season. Prof has Demon. Striker has Jacob. I have ZywOo. Disaster of the season. Prof has Fnatic. Striker has BC.Game. I have Big. Retirement of the season. Prof has Fallen. Striker has Snappy. I have Carrigan. And remember, we are fans of these players and we love and don't want them to retire respectfully. So nice little disclaimer there. So there's another fun little time capsule done. We didn't get into the nitty and the gritty and be able to talk about anything too deep regarding the upcoming season and maybe some of the small VRS rule changes, because there's some stuff that people need to keep in mind. Like now these events have to have 20 teams, whether that means it's in an online portion or not. Remember there was a while there where some of these TOs were only running 16 team VRS invite events. So that has had to change now. There's also some stuff that I want people to keep in mind, that a few of these TOs like Blast, who I'm pretty harsh on with their formats like Rivals, have been given these exemptions by Valve to be able to wind down things that they were doing in the partner era. They've been given those okays. So come 2027, that's when we should see them running actual proper comprehensive formats as opposed to these pseudo small dog shit events. And then, yeah, I had this Lucid Board timeline.
Lucid Board timeline.
Lucid Board.
I don't even know what that means.
That's like
It's a.
like a jam board,
I can show it. Hold up. We won't go into it, but I'll just bring it up. Right
like
here.
a mind map.
Okay.
This is what I used with
Lucid mind board map.
This is what I used with Lucas. You can show this if you want. This is what I used with Vitality. This is something I was building in Australia throughout, and we were talking about like this is the whole calendar, right? So Bounty into Krakow, into Cluj, it's showing the breaks of days into EPL, into Rotterdam, when the major VRS cutoff is during Bucharest, then Rio after that, Fisher if it happens, which we still need to get official word on, Blast Rivals, which is in Fort Worth,
Fisher.
Astana with the overlap with Atlanta, CAC, which is $1 million tournament right before the major. The major then starts on the second. So people can see just how many events are. Then Cologne into the tournament break. Into Fisher, probably not. Into Blast Bounty Season 2, some more online. Esports World Cup, which is extended this time with open qualifiers of 128 teams in these first couple of days. Blast Open Season 2, which I don't think they have a location for yet. Fisher again. Star Series with a 500k event. EPL, which will be all LAN here with Spodek as the arena. TWC, which is coming back for $500,000. PGL Masters Bucharest, which again, it's another PGL studio event. IEM China, which I believe is going to be Chengdu. Rivals, which is Hong Kong. And then the PGL Singapore Major, which is misspelt here. So that's a little bit unfortunate. And then the tournament break, that's the whole year, guys. That's the tier 1 tournaments. And that's how that's all going to unfold. I had some other data here, but we'll get into it and spend a bit more time on it next time. We can talk about strategies and everything like that of what teams might be using and picking events, et cetera, because that's essentially what the VRS allows. So we've been going for over 2.5 hours. This is the first episode back for 2026. We'll probably give Prof off next week if he wants to have it. And we'll see if we can find a guest or something to bring another episode your way. We can kind of recap what happened with the group stages of Bounty. I've got the who, what, when, where, why. So let me just quickly speed through that. That's going to take fucking 30 seconds. It's 32 teams. It's single elimination. It's best of 3. It is this same gimmicky type situation. They've taken away the gamba between the teams because nobody was participating in it, but they still have picking one another from the low seeds. The opening round of 32 has been taking place over these last couple of days. They will redo the picks after the round of 32 is done into the round of 16. And then that will conclude on Sunday. And then teams will travel from their homes to Malta Monday, Tuesday next week. And then they'll be playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm pretty sure. Or is it Thursday as well? Either way, it'll all conclude at the end of next week in Malta in a studio event that might have a small attendance. It is Malta after all. There's not too many people who are here who are going to be watching Counter-Strike. And that's that. That's the start of the year. And then Krakow. So you got Launders and Scrawny casting. You got Harry and Hugo there. You got James Banks and Mike doing hosting, and Pimp and Maui as analysts. And 32 teams online for the start, which is not great, but it is the start of the season. And that's that. That's that, everybody. All right. We did it.
Fantastic.
Fucking did it, everyone. All right.
Good job.
This light has been blinding me. My eyes are sore. But a shout out to the sponsors, Stake. We've been streamed exclusively on Kick. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to watch this on YouTube or Spotify. I hope everyone has a good evening and continues to enjoy Counter-Strike returning for 2026. Good night.